right, first off, congratulations to Billy and his team. I thought from the first time we played them, they were much more improved, and we saw them play with I thought they played a little more edge than we did even in the first half. It was a 1-point game, but I thought we came out, we shook the line up and had some guys come out, gave us some pretty good energy, and so coming in the second half, you wanted to see that same energy, the same mindset defensively getting after it. I think one of the key stats in the first half obviously was the second chance points, and I thought we did a better job in the second half, but until going down the stretch when they had to make plays, you see them come up with loose balls, tips in, and so the game was won in the paint. You're talking about the free throw lines, the rebounding, just play a little more tougher, I think, than us. But we had chances. It's a 2-point game, and we got the basketball, and obviously you got to execute. I think we're 8 minutes, and then even a 3-point game with 6 minutes to go. But they ended up making plays. I thought Flagg made some big shots for them. And, of course, we already know that Starks is a good player. But I think a big guy tonight for them was the Mitchell kid. He didn't play well in the first game, but he's been playing really well. And with our guys, again, it's we talk about the confidence level, and we always talk about trying to finish strong. And of course, we saw it again. We didn't make the plays going down the stretch. I think we had back-to-back turnovers, and it's a 2-point game. And then you look up, now we're down 7, and we had some shots that didn't go in. And Mason had a good look. I think Isaiah had a good look, and now they're turning those turnovers into.
I know you're going to dig this.
Everybody thinks he has really good players. I think he's got decent players.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're not my kind of players. And that's what everybody's got to understand.
Well, they seem like they're...
me.
Yeah.
This. It's all dope here.
Is. Answer me now. No way. Sports Talk.
We need to hire a batter coach up there.
Wow.
If I get a request to come on your show, it's drop everything and make it happen at all costs.
How about a little decorum in here on a work day?
Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Pullman.
So let's have story time today, shall we? This is one worth hearing. I got news for you. So I go to grab lunch today before the show. Just went to a local spot, grabbed a quick bite to eat, just picking something up, bringing it back to the office so I could get back and get dialed in on the show today. And then on the way back, something happened that completely changed the way I decided I was going to open the show today. Don't worry, we'll get to basketball coming up in just a minute. Don't worry about that. We got your basketball, we got your baseball, we got your spring football. We got all of that coming up, and we're going to take your calls, 877-447-4040, the number. But I had to get this story out first because I think there's an important message that goes along with the story. So I'm driving back, and I'm driving along, for those of you who are familiar with the city of Fayetteville, driving along Gregg Street. I don't think the street really matters, but you can at least get an idea, if you're familiar with it, of where I was. And I guess the reason it does matter is because along Gregg runs a train track. Train tracks run most of the length of Gregg in Fayetteville, if not the entire length of it. So I'm driving back, and out of the corner of my eye, I see something to my right. I'm in the lane closest to the curb. I see something out of the corner of my eye. And thankfully I did. Because what I saw, when I turned and looked, what I saw was a man. Did not know this man. Sprinting or clambering over the train tracks. And it appears it doesn't appear. He has a duffel bag and what appears to be a wrestling championship belt is the only way I can describe it. That's what it looked like, at least. And I'm seeing this kind of in my periphery while I'm still trying to pay attention to the road. But then there's that one point where I realize trouble is afoot. Literally. Because the man, after climbing over the train tracks, sprinted out into the street. I had to slam on my brakes. I'm talking screeching tires, slamming on the brakes to avoid catastrophe. The car next to me had to slam on his brakes. The cars coming the other way had to slam on their brakes. And this guy is froggering across the road at full speed. And I'm just sitting there totally bewildered. Like, oh my gosh, I almost annihilated this crazy person. And so did about 4 other cars. I have no idea what's going on. And, you know, the moral of the story here, kids, is don't do drugs. That's the moral of the story. Sawyer, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I have a couple questions.
Yeah. Please, feel free.
What this guy look like? In my head, when I picture this story, I see a guy with long hair. And maybe
longer
beard.
hair. No facial hair.
Okay.
Just longer hair, but not like long enough to be in a ponytail or anything.
And you
disheveled for sure.
And he just kept running after he crossed the road. You didn't have time to really follow him.
Right.
You were worried about what's in front of you.
Right. I did not follow his journey. Perhaps I should have.
I have 2 theories on what might this.
I have 2 theories as well. One I already shared that he had gotten into something.
Yeah.
What are your theories?
I'm kind of with you on that one. Like, yeah, he had just robbed a place.
Okay. I was talking about illegal substance use.
That's right.
But that was my other theory is that he had perhaps just robbed something and was fleeing.
My other
I can't wait to watch the news tonight.
Yeah,
by the
I would
way.
check. We need to be checking this. My other theory is that he just went through a breakup and had to grab his stuff at his significant other's place, and he threw it in a bag, and you can't leave without your world championship belt. You can't leave that behind, and he fortunately was able to grab that too.
This is true.
So, yeah, that's all I got for you, Bart. That's crazy. I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of turned and looked at the people in the car next to me because they had to slam on their brakes as well, and we just kind of shared this look of pure shock, like what in the world? And I mean, the first thing I thought of was, well, there's always something to spice matters up in Fayetteville,
That's true.
There's always something going on. Keep Fayetteville funky, right? That's what they say. Perhaps this guy was keeping it a little too funky. I don't know.
I would have had to follow him, Bart. I know that you came.
Well, yeah, I mean, I couldn't.
Yeah.
He was on the other side of the road. I was kind of pinned. Can't really pull a U-turn or anything from over there.
Man.
I wish though that I want to know how the story ends. I can't imagine it ends well. The only thing that would have made it better is if instead of like just sprinting, he was riding like a lawnmower or something,
Pour your whiskey out.
I just got this.
Pour it out.
Something like that. That's the only thing that could have possibly made it better.
Yeah.
Because at that, you can only go so fast in that. It's not like you're sprinting. Like we can see it coming at that point. It's not like darting out into traffic. So that's what happened to me today. A couple hours ago. If you have your theories, I'd love to hear.
If you were around and saw this man,
or if you also saw this this crazed person, would love to hear from you. 877-447-4040. There's a basketball game tonight too, and we will get to that. In fact, what the heck? Let's get to it now. Arkansas, Kentucky tonight, SEC Network.
Quick turnaround, big week for us. Obviously going and playing against a very talented Kentucky team that's playing awful well. They got depth, they got size, and obviously they're playing hard. And they're playing at home and they're playing well. It's a big challenge for us. Great opportunity going in there, and there's no pressure on us. It's a great atmosphere. And if you're a ball player, you want to play in that kind of atmosphere. In our mind, we all we got. So hopefully they'll give us an opportunity to come together. Times we play well on the road. LSU had a pretty good environment there. Our guys played well. So the biggest key is, getting off to a good start, and you got to make shots. I don't see no quitting these guys. I think that's, if you're talking about letting go of the rope, they hadn't done that. You'll see a team that's going to go out. They're going to fight. Like I said, they might not be where I want them to be at right now, but they're going to fight and scratch and claw. I call it the grind time. This is the grind time. And I think, our guys got to understand when it's grind time, that's what's got to take place. You got to dig a little deeper, because a lot of teams, some of them, they really start putting it together, playing some of the better basketball, and hopefully we still got some good basketball left in us.
Arkansas, Kentucky tonight on the SEC Network. This is not, if you're Arkansas, when you would want to be playing Kentucky. Let me give you a couple of recent SEC basketball scores. Auburn 79, Arkansas 56. Kentucky 80, Auburn 53. Those happened within a week of each other. And that probably doesn't have you feeling great about tonight's Arkansas-Kentucky matchup. Kentucky expected to be without starting forward Reed Travis due to a knee injury. He's averaging 11.7 rebounds this season. But nevertheless, Kentucky, a 15.5-point favorite tonight. I'm not sure Kentucky was a 15.5-point favorite in any of their SEC football games this year. What's interesting, though, is that this line opened around 17 points and has come down since then, which means money coming in on the Razorbacks. To cover the spread, mind you, not to win the game. It's still a ton of points, though, and it's warranted. Anytime you're a double-digit underdog, it's not where you want to be. KenPom gives Arkansas just a 7% chance of winning tonight. Kentucky, top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. They're fourth in offensive rebounding rate, while Arkansas is one of the very worst in the country at giving up offensive rebounds. 342nd. The Wildcats 20th in free throw rate, and Arkansas sends opponents to the line a lot. Essentially, this is a total mismatch tonight. I'm just being honest. That's what it looks like on paper. One thing for sure, though, is that Arkansas is in dire need of something positive to happen tonight. That doesn't mean they've got to win the game. They need something positive. They need to keep it close. They need to play well. They need to play well on both sides of the ball. They need good things to happen because this is a team that's lost 5 straight, the most under Mike Anderson, and a loss tonight to Kentucky would equal Arkansas's longest losing streak since they lost 8 in a row in 2009. They also lost 6 in a row in 2010. And a 6-game losing streak would be tied for the 4th longest losing streak in the history of Razorback basketball. The longest, for the record, 9 consecutive losses set by the Razorbacks in 1971 under the great Lanny Van Eman. I like to bring up these obscure old Razorback coaches as much as humanly possible.
I know that.
In part because they have great names. Lanny Van Eman, terrible basketball coach, great name for a basketball coach. Duddy Waller, terrible basketball coach, also terrible name for a basketball coach. Presley Askew, also bad at coaching basketball, but a fun name to say. Can Arkansas avoid more futility down the stretch? Look, it's not great. The past couple weeks have not been great. I know that's not where you want the Razorback basketball program to be. It's not where Mike Anderson wants the Razorback basketball program to be, but it's the reality facing the Razorbacks tonight as they travel to Kentucky. And by the way, I feel like anytime Arkansas plays Kentucky in basketball and things aren't going well for the Razorbacks, it just amplifies the fact that things aren't going well for the Razorbacks. Because, Arkansas, Kentucky used to be the thing in the SEC when it came to basketball. It was Arkansas, it was Kentucky. Throw the ball up and see what happens. Usually a top 10 type of matchup. Sometimes the top 5 matchup, sometimes the top 4-3 matchup. A lot of great games in the series, a lot of great moments. Will it ever be that way again? Can it be that way? Can Arkansas get to the point again where these matchups with Kentucky mean something? Where you're not going into the matchup thinking, I really dislike those guys. I really hope we can keep it close. Now, look, for a while there, Mike Anderson had success against John Calipari. Dating back to his time at UAB and then Missouri and at Arkansas, he's one of the most successful coaches out there against John Calipari. But it's trended in the wrong direction as of late. Can Arkansas get that back? 877-447-4040. Michael is in Stuttgart. Michael, welcome to Sports Talk. Good to hear from you.
Well, it's great to hear from you, Bart. I wanted to tell you how much you've grown as a host. I mean, from where you started to where you are. I mean, I think, I don't know if it was intended for you to actually do this to this degree, but my gosh, you've taken advantage of it. And I feel like you kind of got me before anybody else over there did as far as entertainment value or actually having some knowledge. So I want to tell you before you go off the air, publicly, how much I appreciate that, Bart, and appreciate you and how good you've gotten at doing your job.
Hey, thanks, Michael. I really appreciate that, and know that we here at this show really appreciate you and what you've brought to our airwaves over the years. Maybe not always agreeing, but you're always well prepared, and you always have a point that you're trying to make, and that's always very, very appreciated.
Well, as far as the preparation goes, I just get out of bed. I usually wake up about 5 minutes before you guys come on, and I just happen to know this much. I know a lot of people think, I'd sit here and do this or that, but I'm actually in the life. That's how I make a living. The reason the line came down in the Kentucky game, because what was it, 17? Now it's down to 15.5. I mean, they got Tennessee on deck. I mean, they can't respect Arkansas in this game. I mean, they just got beaten by Texas A&M and everybody else they played. So that's just disinterest, and people are going to take. I couldn't personally bet the game either way. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was given the choice. I don't know which side I would take. I mean, that's how scary the game is to me. I mean, just no one knows. I guess you'd almost have to take Arkansas just to think that's a lot of points. Kentucky won't cover, but lo and behold, they may just walk a mud hole through them. But I wanted to say this. Wasn't it, man, what a great interview with Nolan, and wasn't it poignant what he had to say about Daniel Gafford coming back 4 or 5 years? I know he was maybe a little bit of hyperbole with the 5th year, but he's nowhere near ready. I mean, don't you agree with that?
Oh, I agree that he's not ready to be a major contributor at the NBA level. But whether or not he should go to the NBA is a totally different conversation, I think. When you throw the money out there, and you throw the fact that, him getting into an NBA program, an NBA conditioning program, something, in the NBA, you go to the NBA, that's your job. That's your full-time job, and that's what you spend all your emphasis on. And I think, the quicker Daniel Gafford can get into that sort of lifestyle, the better it's going to be for his basketball career.
I actually think the opposite. Obviously, dissenting opinions, we can disagree. I think he needs to mature a whole lot and come back here and get more ready for a professional life. I think college sometimes, especially in his case with his maturity level, which I kind of look at him like a clown, and I don't mean that disparagingly. I'm just saying that's his personality. He's gregarious. That's just the way. And he said he isn't a leader. He's not a leader. The guy has a hard time staying on his feet, and his skill set is. And I know they're drafting on potential, but I'm looking at the intangibles with him. And as far as the basketball IQ, his actual skill level. Maybe they can develop that. I don't think he'll ever develop into a whole lot more than what he is, but I'm hoping the best for him, whatever he ends up being. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a prediction, probably the last one I'll give you on the show. I was on Kentucky, a couple weeks ago when Tennessee went in there with 19 straight games, and I pounded Kentucky. Loved the spot for Kentucky. And I know a lot of people were saying number one team in the country, 19 in a row getting points. I mean, how can you possibly bet Kentucky? This is before the game, before they rolled them, but it was simple for me, and, it turned out to be the same way. I'll go ahead and tell you this. Tennessee's going to repay the favor Saturday. That game will be just as lopsided. The shoe will be on the other foot when they walk in there. And Kentucky probably be favoring the game by a point. It could be a pick-em. Tennessee may be a point favorite, but I'm just telling you, the game will not be competitive. I understand it looked like men against boys, and it was, and the athletes and the length. Well, Reed Travis isn't playing. He primarily guarded Williams in the game, so he's not going to be there. At the end of the game, I don't know if you saw, but Tennessee actually went away from their own goal with a couple seconds left because, the game was over. The guy from Kentucky went down and tomahawk dunked it reversed. And the guys on the Tennessee bench, Schofield looked at Williams and kind of moved his chin up like we got him in 2 weeks. We got something for him. And trust me when I tell you, they'll have something waiting on him.
I couldn't agree more with that, Michael. Thanks for weighing in. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, sure. Have a great day.
Yep, you too. 877-447-4040. If you want to get in here, we'll get to your calls coming up.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
The Ozarks, one incredible store featuring Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear. The Ozarks, 23,000 square feet of incredible products, where every day is a sale. At the Ozarks, prices are marked down upon arrival on almost every product, which means they are immediately passing big savings on to you. Bring the whole family into the Ozarks for a shopping experience like no other. Where else can you find firearms, camo, and the hottest boutique brands all in one place? It's only at the Ozarks. They also have the best selection of gun safes in the region with free delivery within 30 miles. Don't forget, they have a live fire 15-lane indoor gun range as well. At the Ozarks, you'll find hunting and fishing supplies, bikes, kayaks, knives, boots, you name it, they've got it. So much for the whole family to discover at the Ozarks. Check out Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear, Highway 412 west of Springdale in Tawnytown. Be sure to follow them on social media to see what daily sales are happening at the Ozarks. Lindsay Golf Courses range from 27-hole championship to 9-hole par 3s and are making a presence in affordable country club memberships for both individuals and families. Our challenging courses and extensive amenities are designed to attract golfers of all ability levels and offer recreational and social opportunities for members. Lindsay 18-hole championship golf courses can be found in Northwest Arkansas, Paradise Valley Athletic Club in Fayetteville, and in Rogers at Law Springs Golf and Athletic Club. Or you can visit lindsaymanagement.com for a complete list of Lindsay golf courses.
What's your more? Maybe it's more front row seats to see your favorite band on all 35 tour dates around the world. Whatever you'd like more of, Powerball from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery can turn those dreams into reality. And the next drawing is for more than $320 million. So go to your local lottery retailer and get your ticket to more today. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
Start us off, please?
Well, it started off with, I think McLemore made a three-point shot, and it kind of snowballed from that. We know they're a terrific three-point shooting team, and they made 17 tonight. Our defense didn't do a good job of getting out there and finding their shooters, and we know they go on a run, and they can really go off, and they did tonight. And we couldn't make any shots. They did a good job early on of really just packing in on Dan, and the guys that would normally shoot the ball well for us, I mean, they go, I think it was like 6 for 27, and go 4 for 20 from three-point land. And against a team like Auburn, you can't do that, so it allowed them to sack their defense. But I was proud of the guys that came off the bench. I thought Desi came and gave us some toughness that you got to have on the road. Gabe Osaborn, I thought he came in. Reggie Chaney, along with Keyshawn Embry. So I learned a little bit more about our basketball team. in the face of adversity. But Auburn, we know what they're capable of doing, and obviously they had their way tonight.
Mike, they took on you 22-1. Obviously, the United States had that 23-1. Did you feel it was like a carryover thing?
No, I don't think there was no day. I thought they just came out and made shots, and we didn't defend. And when you don't defend, that's what happens.
Isaiah especially said he missed some good open looks. That was a tough night.
They had some open looks. He and Mason, they all had some open looks. Dan had some open looks there. I mean, even you think about the epitome was he had a wide open duck and he misses the duck. That's the kind of night it was. It was, free throws. We go 50% from the free throw line. We made him turn it over 21 times, but I don't think we took advantage of that.
It's 4 straight losses, second time this season. You guys responded pretty good the first time. How do you think you guys responded?
Well, I think we were responding the right way. I think, like I said, what I saw in the second half, that's a sign that we will respond the right way. What I saw in the second half, especially with those guys. I started with the guys that finished off the half, and I thought it was a difference in.
You are dialed into Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe. Here is Bo Mattingly.
Wow. Wow, Saw. Wow.
Yeah, that was
That's disappointing.
Sorry, Bart.
I was sitting here ready to deliver the No Malarkey Minute, No Malarkey Take, and didn't have that. And then the rejoiner had Bo's name.
Did not say your name.
That's I mean, I would have thought that by now, after doing this show for as long as we've been doing it,
you would think I could pull that off.
We would have that under control.
We can scratch and start over.
Yeah, do you have it?
You want to just take it like you just want to do the No Malarkey?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just take it from the top. All right,
I was ready.
Hit me with it. Just give it to me straight.
The ball kind of popped out, but I put it back in.
I didn't alter the ball in any way.
I said, let's lose 11-5.
And now it's time for Sports Talk's No Malarkey Minute. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky, Northwest Arkansas's on-time electrician. Call 888-8-SPARKY today.
That's better. I'm going to try to keep this brief because there will be more time for this on Thursday, our final show. But this is the last time that I will be sitting in this chair. And I know that for some of you listening right now, you're probably like doing the Hallelujah chorus or something. You're probably really excited about that. But, just on a personal level for me, I started working here at Sports Talk a little over 8 years ago. And it was the perfect move for me at that point in time in my life. In fact, it couldn't have been better. Where I was, what I wanted to do, I was in a spot where I wasn't really getting to do what I wanted to do, which is cover sports, be involved in sports, be talking about sports. And all of a sudden, a little lifeline came floating my way. And it was Bo, and it was this show. And even though I had zero radio experience, and again, some of you are probably sitting there like, yeah, we can tell.
I am. I'm
yeah.
My hand.
Yeah. Saul's always there to tell me when I'm terrible. No, it was a great fit, and I like to think I learned a lot, and in a short amount of time, and got up to speed. I mean, a couple of days into working here, Bo pulls me aside after the show one day and says, "Hey, we're sending you down to New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl, like a week before the game. You're going to be down there." And I'm sitting here like, man, this is the best. This is great. Is it always like this? As it turns out, no, it's not. But it's been a really fun ride over the last 8+ years for me. And, you know, I never, ever had any interest in being a radio host. I like the producing side of things. But as time went on, it became clear that that needed to be something that happened. And I was really hesitant at first. But with each passing show, I felt like I grew in my ability to sit here and talk to you guys. And that's just one of the many, many things that have happened over the past 8 years in my life of being a part of this show, this program. And I'm really grateful to Bo for giving me the opportunity to do this, for Saul for being an incredible friend and helping me keep a level head more often than not when I feel like I want to, you know, remove somebody's head from their own body and throw it across the room. And I want to thank you guys, our listeners, for being such a big part of this show through the years and for really becoming a part of my life. If I go too long without hearing from Michael in Stuttgart or Joe in Avoca or any of these other characters, and I use the word characters not in a derogatory sense, but in a personable sense. Any of you guys who make our show what it is, day after day, week after week, you start being like, hey, well, where's Joe? Where's Michael? Where's Tim from Little Rock? You know, where are these guys? Because what we have here, and I feel like what we've created over the years here is a family atmosphere where everybody's welcome to come weigh in with their opinions and talk about the one thing that they all love, and that's the Razorbacks. And so from me to you, thank you for letting me sit in this chair on a part-time basis, but be a part of this show over the last 8+ years. The No Malarkey Minutes brought to you by Mr. Sparky, Northwest Arkansas's on-time electrician. If you have an electrical problem, doesn't matter how big or small, call our friends at Mr. Sparky. You know the number. It's 8888-SPARKY. You can even schedule your appointment online at MrSparkyNWA.com.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
What's your more? Maybe it's more front row seats to see your favorite band on all 35 tour dates around the world. Whatever you'd like more of, Powerball from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery can turn those dreams into reality. And the next drawing is for more than $320 million. So go to your local lottery retailer and get your ticket to more today. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Life is better with basketball. And with First Security, we have the know-how to assist with your needs, plus a local team you could count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSBank.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
All right, first off, congratulations to Billy and his team. I thought from the first time we played them, they were much, much more improved. And we saw them play I thought they played a little more edge than we did, even in the first half. It was a one-point game. But I thought we came out, we shook the line up and had some guys come out who gave us some pretty good energy. And so coming in the second half, you wanted to see that same energy, the same mindset defensively getting after it. I think one of the key stats in the first half obviously was the second chance points. And I thought we did a better job in the second half, but until, going down the stretch when they had to make plays, you see them come up with loose balls, tips in, and so the game was won in the paint. You're talking about the free throw lines, the rebounding, just play a little more tougher, I think, than us. But we had chances. It's a 2-point game, and we got the basketball, and obviously you got to execute. I think we're 8 minutes, and then even 3-point game with 6 minutes to go. But they ended up making plays. I thought Flagg made some big shots for them. And, of course, we already know that Starks is a good player. But I think a big guy tonight for them was the Mitchell kid. He didn't play well in the first game, but he's been playing really well. And with our guys, again, it's we talk about the confidence level. And we always talk about trying to finish strong. And of course, we saw it again. We didn't make the plays going down the stretch. I think we had back-to-back turnovers, and it's a 2-point game. And then you look up, now we're down 7. And we had some shots that didn't go in, and Mason had a good look. I think Isaiah had a good look, and now they're turning those turnovers into easy offense for them, layups.
Defense, when it was tight, like you said, it seemed to me like you didn't get stops. I can't remember how many consecutive, but how critical is that in that point?
I thought it was really. I mean, I thought that's what Price got to kick in. And we've been done a pretty good job throughout the game. And then I thought when we needed those stops, and a lot of times we made them take tough shots, and they would come up with the basketball. I remember one. I think we doubled up on Nebo. He shot a left-handed shot, and we had people in position, but somehow I think Flagg came up with it and put the ball in the hole right up under the basket. So, and that's again understanding the timing in the game. That you got to get stops. You got to get stops. And so they end up shooting 58%, and their team that scores probably 70-some odd points a game. So again, credit them for making plays when they had to.
After tonight, 6 home losses this year, how tough is that to swallow, just knowing you've been so good here in the past?
I always talk about it. This is one of the places where people don't even come here thinking they got a chance. And so I'm disappointed in that. I really am. Our fans have been fantastic. They were great tonight, just trying to will this basketball team. And sometimes our guys got to look in the mirror. That's what I said. They got to look in the mirror. And even to me, from that standpoint, what are we doing that we're not doing? And one of the things I know, our kids are fighting. They're playing hard. They're playing their hearts out. But at the end of the day, I think what takes place is sometimes the inexperience, and we never know. Some of these guys may be hitting that wall. There's a time where you start hitting that wall, and as I told them, you just got to fight through it.
Mike, what do you think the 35-25 rebounding difference, what role that played in the game?
And now, the Ozark Sportsman Supply Hog Update.
Chad Morris making this announcement on Monday.
Our running backs, all of them are back. Rakeem Boyd will not be a part of spring. TJ Hammonds is not on the team. So Rakeem is out. Devwah Whaley, Chase Hayden. This is a tremendous opportunity for these young men in their second year to elevate their game.
Boyd had shoulder surgery after last season. No official word on why Hammonds is not with the team. Spring practice starts on Friday. The men's basketball team on the road tonight at Kentucky.
When you go and play the game, it's 0-0, and you hope you go and play some of your best basketball, one of your better games for 40 minutes. I think that's that's my mindset. That's going to be our team's mindset.
The 4th-ranked Wildcats currently on a 3-game win streak. Tip-off at 8 p.m. on ESPN. I'm Melissa Orange for the Pig Trail Nation, and that's your Hog Update.
Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Bowman.
Thanks for listening to the Hog Update, brought to you by Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Casual Clothing. They're the stores that everyone are raving about. They provide the most unique experience for the sportsman and their whole family to enjoy together. Ozark Sportsman Supply employees have many years of experience in firearm sales, which means they have the knowledge that far exceeds your highest expectations. At the Ozarks, they have a much bigger vision than just selling one thing. They want the whole family to visit and enjoy time together. Visit Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Casual Clothing on Highway 412 West, just outside of Springdale in Tawnytown. Want to get to your calls, 877-447-4040. We'll get to them coming up in just a second, but we go from one member of the Pig Trail Nation crew to another. Tara Talmadge of the Pig Trail Nation in here in studio. And Tara, why don't you tell everybody what you did when you walked in here today?
Well, I think that some loyal fans and viewers
will
know exactly what I'm talking about. I had to bring some ice cream today, being that this show is kind of coming to a close, and this will be my last time on to celebrate. Since, Bart and I had some ice cream in Omaha, and it was such a hit with everyone. I just had to bring some McFlurries because who doesn't like them?
I'm glad I was included on this one,
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Thank you, Tara.
We had to get everyone in.
I mean, you can't leave people out when you're talking about ice cream. Here, serious question. Who does not like ice cream?
Anyone?
Like, no. I mean, there's no, unless like you just cannot, unless you're like lactose intolerant and you cannot have ice cream.
And that's a real shame.
Right. Sorry about you. Really, really, truly sorry. But, I mean, I am very appreciative. It was a very nice gesture.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to enjoying this McFlurry. Is this
Mine's about halfway gone.
Is this an Oreo McFlurry?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way to go.
I like it. So we're going to be sitting here talking sports, eating ice cream, just kind of having a good time. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, just a nice Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. The Razorback basketball team, they're probably going to need some ice cream at some point later tonight because they're a 15.5-point underdog at Kentucky, Tara.
Yeah.
Not where you want to be.
No, I don't think that game's going to go too well for Arkansas. And Anderson is very optimistic, and I think that's great. I just don't see it going well. I mean, Kentucky is just dominant right now. Everyone saw what they did to Auburn, right?
Right.
This is right after Arkansas got dominated by Auburn.
So 80-53 Kentucky over Auburn.
Yeah. So
they've kind of hit another gear lately.
Exactly.
The Wildcats, that is. Their only loss in their last 15 games was that controversial loss to LSU.
Right.
A game that they probably should have won, but then they manhandle Tennessee, they handle Missouri, they crush Auburn, and now Arkansas comes to Rupp Arena, and Ken Pom gives the Wildcats a 93% chance of winning the game tonight by an 80-63 margin. In case you were wondering about that betting line, there it is.
Yeah,
it's not going well right now for the Razorbacks, and there's not a way for us to sugarcoat it.
No,
because they're just, when you've lost 6 straight games, there aren't any positives to point out.
No, and I mean, we kind of talked about it on the show the other day. A lot of it obviously has to do with their shooting right now. They were 5 for 22 from the 3-point line in their last game. Just stop throwing up threes. It's clearly not working. Try to drive inside. Try to get the ball to Daniel Gafford more. Obviously, I know he's being double-teamed, triple-teamed, so it's difficult. But even try to get a better look that's closer in might be a better option. Or, hey, get to the free throw line.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because this is not a good 3-point shooting Razorback team.
No.
I know everybody thinks that's not the case because they have Isaiah Joe and because of how great he is. But Arkansas shoots it at a 32.4% clip from the perimeter. That's 274th nationally. In SEC games, they're only shooting 30% from deep, second worst in the conference. What you're seeing is a Razorback team that is settling and that is just taking a lot of really, really bad shots. Mm-hmm. And I think that starts up top. And I'm not trying to single any individual player out, but the guards have to do a better job of actually running the offense the way it's supposed to be run. I'll give you an example. You see Daniel Gafford come up and set a screen for, say, Jalen Harris. He's the starting point guard, say Jalen Harris. Jalen Harris comes off the screen and doesn't even look to Gafford on the roll, instead just passes it out, on the wing or passes it along the wing. Isaiah Joe in the game against Texas A&M on Saturday, runs a pick and roll with Gafford. He comes off the screen. They attack Joe because he's a great three-point shooter, which leaves Gafford wide open.
Yeah.
They're just not consistently doing that sort of thing. And that's what's causing them these stagnant periods on offense. And this is a team that's gone from being, top 50 in offensive efficiency to one, Tara, that's right now 102nd.
And I think I hate to use the growing pains kind of excuse, but I mean, I know, I get it. You've got so many young guys on that team right now, though. And this is what we were fearful of at the beginning of the season. Everyone was all excited about them getting off to a great start. Obviously, there was that loss to Texas, which wasn't great. But after that, they still looked pretty good consistently over a couple of games. You just can't get too high on that before you get to SEC play, because this is basically what most people assumed was going to happen. You just have too many young guys right now. You need some bigger, more dominant figures on that team.
The worst thing that happened for Arkansas this year was probably winning that Indiana game early in the year, which sent people's expectations to another level. Now, as it turns out, Indiana has not been great. Yeah. They've really struggled in Big Ten play. They're 49th in KenPom right now. But Arkansas won that game, and fan expectations just shot through the roof. Hey, maybe this isn't going to be as bad as we thought this year. Looks like, they can go back to the NCAA tournament. And then, they kind of had a rough stretch, and then they went and won at LSU. And so, again, you're like, and all of a sudden, all the different bracketologists had Arkansas right there at the NCAA tournament. And now they've lost 5 straight games, and they look like a totally different team than we've seen for most of the year. One of the things that Mike Anderson pointed out in his post-game news conference was that maybe these guys have hit the wall. Talking about all the newcomers. You always hear about the freshman wall, and it's a very real phenomenon.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm seeing with these guys, is that they're just kind of, things have gone south, and they don't really know how to get over it.
It's a possibility for sure. And also you see that during the games in general. They sometimes, you never tell. I feel like if it's either the first half, then they don't do well in the second half. If it's the second half, then it's not the first half. It's just such an odd, they can't seem to put it together for a full 40 minutes. And that's the freshman issue right now.
That's youth. That's what youth leads to inconsistency. And nobody wants to hear that. But that's true. Now, the other conversation is, well, what leads to having such a young team? That's the conversation, because there's no denying that a young team is going to be inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Unless Duke is on a different level with Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish. That's a totally different level. Those guys should already be in the NBA. And if this rule proposal by the NBA goes through, which everybody expects it will, then those guys will be eligible to go back to the NBA, and college basketball will change once again for the better, in my opinion. Get these one and dones out of here. I want to see guys who come in and develop for a couple of years. I love the baseball model.
Yeah,
I think the baseball model is the best thing going in college sports, where you either go pro or you're going to school for 3 years, and if you play college baseball at a high level, an SEC level, well, it's like playing AA baseball already.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm sure people are very excited that baseball is back right now.
Yeah, we've been talking quite a bit of baseball.
Oh, I'm sure.
In fact, let's take some calls. 877-447-4040. John's in Little Rock. John, welcome to the show.
All right, just a few things real quick. In terms of Michael's call, first of all, I'll agree with him on you. You've done a good job. You've despite what all those people on Facebook and Twitter say, you're not the reason the show is ruined. So
thanks, John.
Good job with that. I will disagree with him on Gafford. I think that if this team can't pull out something positive in the last something substantially positive in the last few weeks here, that it reminds me of the football team that blew it at Missouri and then blew it at Virginia Tech and never recovered. And there is, they're going to carry that on into next season. And, there's no real growth for Gafford at that point. I think, unless unless there's a big change, he needs to head on out. Now, in terms of Sawyer missing the break today and bringing Bo back into the studio and calling me Dave last week.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. Do you know the number to call in real quick? Can you give that to us?
You were listening that day too, huh?
Man, I don't have a life. I just...
So for the backstory here, one day Bo went to Saw for the number to the show. This show that we have done for a very long time.
I have the number.
And Saw did not know the number.
877-447-4040.
Take
that, John.
Yeah, that gave him just enough time for Google right there.
No, I did have to write it down.
Right.
It was like spelling bee kid
sure,
over
yes,
there.
It was definitely spelling bee-esque.
Exactly. All right. Well, good job, guys. And I think we should open Thursday with Joe from Avoca calling in and saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Great idea.
I love it. I love it.
Care.
Hey, yeah, thanks, John. Call back, man. 877-447-4040 is the number.
I have really enjoyed Dave's calls over the years.
More sports talk after this.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
Life is better with football. And with First Security, we have the know-how to tackle your needs, plus a local team you can count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSbank.com, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
All right, first off, congratulations to Billy and his team. I thought from the first time we played them, they were much more improved. And we saw them play I thought they played a little more edge than we did, even in the first half. It was a one-point game. But I thought we came out, we shook the line up and had some guys come out and gave us some pretty good energy. And so coming in the second half, you wanted to see that same energy, the same mindset defensively getting after it. I think one of the key stats in the first half obviously was the second chance points. And I thought we did a better job in the second half, but until, going down the stretch when they had to make plays, you see them come up with loose balls, tips in, and so the game was won in the paint. You're talking about the free throw lines, the rebounding, just play a little more tougher, I think, than us. And but we had chances. It's a 2-point game, and we got the basketball, and obviously you got to execute. I think we're 8 minutes, and then even 3-point game with 6 minutes to go. But they ended up making plays. I thought Flagg made some big shots for them. And, of course, we already know that Starks is a good player. But I think a big guy tonight for them was the Mitchell kid. He didn't play well in the first game, but he's been playing really well. And with our guys, again, it's we talk about the confidence level. And we always talk about trying to finish strong. And of course, we saw it again. We didn't make the plays going down the stretch. I think we had back-to-back turnovers, and it's a 2-point game. And then you look up, now we're down 7. And we had some shots that didn't go in, and Mason had a good look. I think Isaiah had a good look. And now they're turning those turnovers into easy offense for them, layups.
When did you know you were going to get fired? Probably the first day I took the job.
Dave won the championship of life.
You're not giving any kind of effort, and things we think is ridiculous, you wear orange.
I don't get break the head comb.
The cut of the day.
The ball came through the basket. It was at 0. Game's over. Dogs win.
Presented by Bud Anderson Home Services. One call does it all. 855-GO-CALL-BUD.
Do you know what you don't know?
Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Pullman.
So John Tortorella is a longtime NHL coach. He's currently the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, but longtime coach at the Tampa Bay Lightning, New York Rangers, Vancouver Canucks. You know him as the coach who's always really feisty and angry about the world. And
yes.
He had a press conference, and I guess a reporter's phone rang, Saw?
Yes, and this is kind of a different side of John.
Well, maybe he's lightening up in his old age.
To center, but says he can go to center or wing. But Mrs. Reed? Mrs. Reed? Hi, this is John Tortorella. I'm in the middle of a press conference here, and you're no, that's okay. I'd rather talk to you than your husband. I mean, your son. So, I'll be done in about 5 minutes. I've seen you call a few times, so it's rude. It's rude of him not to call you back, but he's busy right now. It's nice talking to you. Okay, have a nice day.
That the same guy who had lines like this.
Everybody says be a good loser. I think if you're a good loser, you're a loser.
And
a couple of the guys said they felt that you didn't, as a team, test Holtby enough. Just what were your thoughts on the shots you did have and the chances you did have?
We weren't good. We weren't good. There's no sense asking me things about the game. I'm telling you, we laid an egg, so I'm not going to break it down for you. We sucked. We sucked.
You got to love the honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm surprised, again, been covering the Razorbacks now. In total, I have for a decade, a little over a decade. This has never happened at a press conference I've been to that I can recall.
Actually, I'm right there with you. Granted, my time here has been about 2 years. So,
well, you know.
Still haven't experienced that. I'm not saying it won't happen. That would be pretty interesting.
Tara, thanks for being here. Thanks for the ice cream.
Thanks for the McFlurries.
Fantastic.
Cheers,
what a day.
Everyone.
You are listening to Sports Talk, produced by Bart Pullman, directed by Sire Radler. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now.
Anytime, anywhere.
Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
Life is better with basketball. And with First Security, we have the know-how to assist with your needs, plus a local team you could count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSBank.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Do you enjoy golf? Come live at a Links apartment community and love where you live and play. You get free golf privileges, a resort-style pool, great fitness center, and a whole lot more. Our 9-hole courses offer you challenging and quality golf right outside your front door. All that you need and want, we have. View rates, photos, and apply online today. Or check out a complete list of locations by visiting lindsaymanagement.com. That's lindsaymanagement.com.
Life is better with football. And with First Security, we have the know-how to tackle your needs, plus a local team you can count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSBank.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
Defense, when it was tight, like you said, it seemed to me like you didn't get stops for I can't remember how many consecutive, but how critical was that in that point?
I thought it was really, I mean, I thought, that's where pride's got to kick in. And we've been done a pretty good job throughout the game, and then I thought when we needed those stops, and a lot of times we made them take tough shots, and they would come up with the basketball. I remember one, I think we doubled up on Nebo. He shot a left-handed shot, and we had people in position, but somehow I think Flag came up with it and put the ball in the hole right up under the basket. So, and that's, again, understanding the timing in the game. That you got to get stops. You got to get stops. And so they end up shooting 58%, and their team that scores probably 70-some-odd points a game. So again, credit them for making plays when they had to.
After tonight, that 6 home losses this year, how tough is that to swallow, just knowing you've been so good here in the past?
I always talk about it. This is one of the places where people don't even come here thinking they got a chance, and so I'm disappointed in that. I really, really am. Our fans have been fantastic. They were great tonight, just trying to will this basketball team, and sometimes our guys got to look in the mirror. That's what I said. They got to look in the mirror. And even to me, from that standpoint, what are we doing that we're not doing? And one of the things I know, our kids are fighting. They're playing hard. They're playing their hearts out, But at the end of the day, I think what takes place is sometimes the inexperience, and we never know. Some of these guys may be hitting that wall. There's a time where you start hitting that wall, and as I told them.
The defense, when it was tight, like you said, it seemed to me like you didn't get stops for I can't remember how many consecutive, but how critical is that in that point?
I thought it was really, I mean, I thought, that's what price got to kick in. And we had been done a pretty good job throughout the game, and then I thought when we needed those stops, and a lot of times we made them take tough shots, and they would come up with the basketball. I remember one, I think we doubled up on Nebo. He shot a left-handed shot, and we had people in position, but somehow I think Flag came up with it and put the ball in the hole right up under the basket. So, and that's, again, understanding the timing in the game, that you got to get stops. You got to get stops. And so they end up shooting 58%, and their team that scores probably 70-some-odd points a game. So again, credit them for making plays when they had to.
After tonight, at 6 home losses this year, how tough is that to swallow? Just knowing you've been so good here in the past.
I always talk about it. This is one of the places where people don't even come here thinking they got a chance, and so I'm disappointed in that. I really, really am. Our fans have been fantastic. They were great tonight, just trying to will this basketball team, and sometimes our guys got to look in the mirror. That's what I said. They got to look in the mirror. And even to me, from that standpoint, what are we doing that we're not doing? And one of the things I know, our kids are fighting. They're playing hard. They're playing their hearts out, But at the end of the day, I think what takes place is sometimes the inexperience, and we never know.
I know you're going to dig this.
The home run cycle has absolutely boggled my mind. You can go plumb back to T-ball, plumb through Major League Baseball. None of them done it in 4 consecutive innings.
This
It's all dope here.
is
Answer me now.
No Way Sports Talk.
We need to hire a batter, coach up there.
Wow.
If I get a request to come on your show, it's drop everything and make it happen at all costs.
How about a little decorum in here on a work day?
Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Pullman.
877-447-4040, the number if you want to get in here. Dudley Dawson of Hogs Illustrated in here with me now. Dudley, I'm sorry you did not get any ice cream, but apparently there's cake in back in the break room.
Well, clearly we have swapped out Beauty and now have the Beast.
There's no question, Dudley. You said it, not me.
Hey, I recognize I have the face for radio.
Oh, that's why we're here. Except we're streaming.
Except we are streaming online.
Streaming online, so anybody can check this out. But 877-447-4040, the number if you want to get in here. We're going to get into more basketball with Dudley, get into some spring football right around the corner. It starts Friday. Chad Morris met with the media yesterday and had some, I'll say, passionate responses to questions, and it was really just filled with energy throughout his press conference, which isn't unusual for Chad Morris, but you saw toward the end of last season, it was just wearing on him. The losses piling up. We didn't see that Chad Morris yesterday. We saw a Chad Morris that was fired up, ready to go, and who also realized that maybe they tried to do certain things too quickly last year, and he has a plan in place to prevent that as spring football begins, or to adjust, an adjustment.
Yeah.
This isn't the old Brett Bielema don't flinch thing. This is a guy who is making adjustments on the fly because he sees things that are wrong. It's like, we need to fix this, or that didn't work out, so we're going to do it this way.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like to come in Monday after Monday and have to talk about how you lost a football game and in the fashion you did and the mistakes you made. Obviously, you get well paid to do that, but it's got to wear on your soul.
Oh, it was a lot of it was junior high type of stuff last year. But that's what you get when you don't have a ton of talent and you're bringing in an entirely new system and you have guys that are playing a lot of snaps who haven't really played before.
Yeah, and so you get to turn the page this spring, really, during the winter conditioning, I guess, and they said that went really well, and you get to turn the page this spring. You've got at least 10 new guys in here, and you've some guys that are not here anymore, and you think that's probably a positive as well as you swap out people who are going to be down with the system and want to be here and want to play. So, we'll see how it translates into wins and improvement, but you certainly have a different look to this year's team as you head into the spring, at least.
And Chad Morris was also quick to point out some guys who have been in here early who are going to have a chance to impact the team right away. Devin Bush and Greg Brooks were two guys he called out by name as guys who, his words, can have an immediate impact. And that is, or should be, good news to Razorback fans because those are both defensive guys.
Yeah, both defensive backs, probably want to play safety, want to play cornerback, but guys both from Louisiana that had all-star careers. I think that Devin Bush was on a team that has won 44 out of his last 45 games. You need those type of teams that come from winning programs that have the winning mentality to swap out with some of those who have been here and lived through this winning 6 out of their last 26 games.
He also mentioned, Chad Morris also mentioned Trey Knox. I don't want to leave him out of the equation. Wide receiver is a guy who can contribute early as well. The wide receiver class that Arkansas signed this year, at least on paper, is nothing short of stellar. And if the early returns with Trey Knox are any indication, these guys are going to be seeing the field sooner rather than later, given Arkansas's situation at receiver.
Yeah. 4 4-star guys that all should have significant impacts as long as Treylon Burks comes back and is healthy and everything looks good on that front. And then you're adding in, of course, another great tight end in Hudson Henry, and they've also moved Chase Harrell, an athletic wide receiver, to tight end, and I think that's probably a good place for him as well. You're going to have bigger guys out there, faster guys out there, and that can't hurt.
You've got 2 great pass-catching tight ends now in C.J. O'Grady and Henry. Wide receiver, I'm just going to read off the leading receivers from last year's team. LaMichael Petway had 499 yards receiving. C.J. O'Grady had 400. He was the tight end, your second leading wide receiver.
He missed, 4 games, something like that?
Right. He played in 10 of the 12 games, but missed some time in some of those 10 as well. Your 4th leading receiver in terms of yards is Mike Woods, a true freshman. 5th in terms of yards, Jordan Jones. 6th in terms of yards, Deion Stewart. 7th in terms of yards, Rakeem Boyd, with 165 yards. He actually had the 3rd most receptions on the team. So it was not a pretty picture. Look, Ty Storey did not have a great year. He did not perform to the standard that Chad Morris has for his quarterbacks, but he also was not helped by his wide receivers who could not get open. Could not create separation.
Yeah, and separation was the big word we heard all year. And you heard it from the coaches. You heard it from the players who were not getting it. You heard it from defensive backs who were giving it up to the other team. That's an area that you would think would be shored up this year. Obviously, they're going to be young at some of these positions, but they're also going to be playmakers. And I think that this program was void of a lot of those the past few years.
And what's interesting about that too, Dudley, is you've seen a trend in recent years. For a long time in college football, freshmen hardly saw the field. I mean, you had to be otherworldly to get on the field as a freshman. Even Tim Tebow, one of the great college football players in history, split time his freshman year with Chris Leak. Does anybody remember Chris Leak?
Yeah, but that's because I follow the game, yeah.
Right, but most casual fans aren't going to remember Chris Leak. But he's the guy who took the majority of the snaps at quarterback for Florida in Tim Tebow's freshman year. But times have changed as more and more players are leaving early for the NFL, and coaches are getting more and more comfortable with playing guys with talent, regardless of what year they are. Clemson is a great example with Trevor Lawrence this year. Alabama and Tua Tagovailoa, not this season, but last season. Another prime example of that, or at least in the national championship game. Coaches aren't afraid to pull the trigger. If this guy's really talented and can help us, he's going to play right away. And I think that's good for college football because it gets more entertaining players on the field.
Yeah.
And it also helps your team.
Yeah, and I think that you're willing to give up a few touchdowns. You're willing to miss a few plays that you might hit as these guys get experience, and because their ceiling is so much higher than the ones you've had in the program, and you'll live with some mistakes early if you're just getting optimum effort out of them.
877-447-4040 is the number if you want to get in here. Chad Morris, yesterday at his press conference, there was a theme that stood out to me. I asked Saul to put this together. He was talking about fundamentals and getting back to the fundamentals, and it was something he stressed over and over in his press conference yesterday.
We want to become more fundamentally sound in all three phases. Establish our core fundamentals. Again, there's the buzzword again. For example, a true kickoff, we're going to work the fundamentals of the actual kickoff. Again, we got to get fundamentally sound. We got to go back to the tracks of our zone, our outside zone, and power and counter. Those things like that have got to be we got to perfect those things. Our main number one focus right now is the fundamentals. We don't want to hurry up to mess up. So let's get the fundamentals down, and then we'll increase the speed at which we play. We got to develop some fundamentals. I don't need 9 focuses. I need 1 focus. And it goes back to our fundamentals. We got to get better.
There's something Chad Morris stressed over and over again yesterday, the fundamentals. He said that perhaps Arkansas last year worked too much on speed and tempo. And you heard the soundbite in there where Chad Morris is talking about they were hurrying up. They don't want to hurry up to mess up, which is what happened a lot, I think, last year.
Arkansas had some wide receivers that got to the wrong spot quickly last year.
Yeah, that's
and
a good way to put it.
The balls were thrown somewhere else. They were just not on the same page a lot. And I know when fans hear we've only put in 30% of the offense or whatever, they get upset. But if you're trying to put in it's not just line up, say hut, and throw the ball to a spot. There are a lot of factors that go into that, and Arkansas was not good at some of those things last year. You hope and you expect for them to be better in those different situations this year.
Again, 877-447-4040. The number, if you want to get in here, we'll shift gears a little bit and talk about Razorback basketball, talk about this game tonight, and just where things are with this Hog basketball team when we come back.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for the Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
You can love where you live and play at an apartment community managed by Lindsay Management Company Incorporated. Affordable apartments with awesome amenities, including clubhouses, fitness centers, pools, tennis courts, and sparkling lakes with fountains at select locations. Many locations also provide business centers, game rooms, tanning beds, whirlpools, saunas, and resort-style pools. You can view rates, photos, and apply online today at lindsaymanagement.com.
What's your more? Maybe it's more front row seats to see your favorite band on all 35 tour dates around the world. Whatever you'd like more of, Powerball from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery can turn those dreams into reality. And the next drawing is for more than $320 million. So go to your local lottery retailer and get your ticket to more today. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
The Ozarks, one incredible store featuring Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost clothing and footwear. The Ozarks, 23,000 square feet of incredible products, where every day is a sale. At the Ozarks, prices are marked down upon arrival on almost every product, which means they are immediately passing big savings on to you. Bring the whole family into the Ozarks for a shopping experience like no other. Where else can you find firearms, camo, and the hottest boutique brands all in one place? It's only at the Ozarks. They also have the best selection of gun safes in the region with free delivery within 30 miles. Don't forget, they have a live-fire 15-lane indoor gun range as well. At the Ozarks, you'll find hunting and fishing supplies, bikes, kayaks, knives, boots, you name it, they've got it. So much for the whole family to discover at the Ozarks. Check out Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear, Highway 412 west of Springdale in Tawnytown. Be sure to follow them on social media to see what daily sales are happening at the Ozarks.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
Daniel, this is the 5th loss in a row. How would you describe what the locker room's like for you guys, and now trying to get out of this funk?
I mean, we basically are trying to keep each other up, encourage each other, motivate each other. I mean, it's a quiet locker room right now because, we should have never lost that game. And, I mean, we came in the locker room, we were complaining about, we should have did this, we should have did that. But push come to shove, we just got to come out and play defense and play basketball.
2 or 3 times y'all would cut it to 1, and then it seemed like Mitchell would break through. Just what was he doing where he couldn't get stopped?
He was just getting inside the paint. I mean, I try to, I was mainly contesting everything I could. He was getting inside the paint and hitting shots over guys that, I'm pretty sure he works on those shots. And that's it on that.
Daniel, you got 5 games left here, a big one at Kentucky coming up. I mean, as one of the older guys on this team, what are you going to tell your guys, and what are you kind of fighting for right now?
I mean, we're just fighting to get, at least a couple of more wins in us. I mean, we can't just go out sad like this. I mean, this stretch that we've been in, it's like we can't get over a hump, and we've been trying our best, but it just seems like we can't. So our main focus is to just get over this hump and, have success in the rest of this year.
Hey, Dan, they had 10 more rebounds than you guys tonight. Did you feel like they did anything in particular as far as rebounding the ball?
They got offensive boards. That's basically the main thing about that. They got offensive boards, and they put it back in the hole.
I guess tonight makes 6 home losses this year. How tough is that to swallow?
It's a tough pill to swallow because, the fans, they spend their time coming to our games to watch us. I mean, we can't just, have all of them come here and just have them disappointed because this is home. We got to protect home. We can't just come in and think that it's going to be given to us because we're just playing home. I mean, people are coming here to play, basically what this program has done. They're coming to play that. So we just got to, hold our part up. We got to come out and play basketball and protect home and, give happiness to the fans instead of, playing in games and having fans leave at the end of the game when we're down.
You are dialed into Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe. Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Pullman.
I call it the grind time. This is the grind time. And I think, our guys got to understand when it's grind time, that's what's got to take place. You got to dig a little deeper, because a lot of teams, some of them, they really start putting it together, playing some of the better basketball, and hopefully we still got some good basketball left in us.
That's Mike Anderson, Arkansas basketball coach. Arkansas at Kentucky tonight on the SEC network. One of the things, Dudley, that has surprised me is the fact that Arkansas is playing such poor basketball in February, just 2-5 in the month of February. And this has traditionally been when Arkansas's hit its stride under Mike Anderson.
The rally time after going 1-3 and 1-4.
Right. And it's been, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if it's just young players hitting the wall or if it's just, I mean, you can't say that Arkansas's played a bunch of just really great teams because Texas A&M is bad. South Carolina is not anything special, although they've played well in SEC play. Missouri is not a good team this year. Mississippi State's beatable. Auburn really the only team in that mix where you're like, yeah, I mean, they're significantly better than the Razorbacks. So it's just, it's been a little jarring and a little mind-boggling to try to figure out what's going on. And I'm sure that Mike Anderson's probably just like, what's going on with these guys?
And I know there are fans out there who are saying you can't be juggling the lineup and doing all that, although there are other fans out there saying you need to do something. So it's, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Obviously, they haven't been playing with a lot of confidence. And I think that they starting off with bad halves, whether it's the first half or second half, has put them behind the 8 ball. It takes a lot of effort to catch up then, and then you have to try to finish out a ball game. They haven't been able to do it, and I think it's just been a snowball rolling down the hill.
I think a lot of it stems from a lack of aggressiveness on offense. I think. And that carries over, by the way, to the defensive side of the ball. When you're not aggressive on one side, it can lead to lackluster play on the other. But they haven't really been aggressive on offense all season. They've shot it well, really well at times. But when you're not aggressive and you're not driving the ball, I always think anytime I talk about driving the ball, I think of the Arkansas-Kentucky game when Michael Qualls had the putback slam, because Jimmy Dykes, our friend Jimmy, was on the call with Brad Nessler, and Kai Madden has the ball.
Got to drive it.
Got to drive it, Brad. Got to drive it. And Kai Madden didn't drive it. He chunked up a bad shot, and it worked out for Arkansas.
Turned around and never saw what happened.
Exactly. But that's what this Arkansas team's doing. They're not driving the ball. And I think what's a little bewildering is that they have guys who are capable drivers. Mason Jones comes to mind. We've seen Desi Sills at times be really aggressive on the offensive end. Maybe there needs to be some sort of movement in the primary ball handler department in terms of somebody who is going to be aggressive offensively from the top of the key, because right now that's what Arkansas is lacking.
Yeah, and they started Desi Sills, I guess, the last game, and then started a different lineup. We'll see what he throws out there tonight. I don't know that it's going to have much of a factor either way, because Kentucky's playing its best basketball of the year right now. And even though Reed Travis is not going to be there,
does not matter.
They've got plenty of other great players, and it's in a building. While it might not be full as it used to be, it still is going to be very intimidating.
And Kentucky likes pouring it on the Razorbacks when they get the opportunity to. And so if things get out of hand tonight, they're probably really going to get out of hand.
But can they even get more out of hand than they were last week during the midweek game?
No. I mean, not unless you get outscored 22-0 to start a game.
It's just been mind-boggling, some of these things, and I think that's why a lot of the fan base is frustrated. Again, not only because it being the 8th year, but the optics of the situation look bad.
No doubt about it. 877-447-4040. Speaking of fans, here's one, Eddie in Clarksville. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and thank you for taking my call today. And I'd like to start off today and to say to you, sir, to Sawyer, to Bo, to all the staff, what a ride it's been. And y'all done a tremendous job allowing fans. You allowed them, as I said last week, a voice to call in. And certainly, again, you took a beating over me. But if you're going to be passionate about something in life, why not be passionate about the Hawks? And certainly over the decades, I've been very passionate. And you said something you touched on. You said you've been covering Hawk sports for, a decade? Well, try being on a Hawk train for over 4 decades. And I remember a time when the whistle was blowing in all our programs. And I asked the question last week, what happened to our basketball program? What happened to it? I can tell you why, because it's just as simple as this. When you have an administration that starts believing in mediocrity, which is, by the way, the belief in being mediocre, this is what happens. I mean, 8 years, are you kidding me? And you don't bring them back for 9? Tonight, you're going to see an embarrassment to the players that have come through. Great players that have come through our program. And it started with Eddie Sutton, as I said last week. I remember the triplets, Moncrief, Def. You know what I'm saying? That helped build a program to carry the torch over to Nolan, and certainly he carried it to the top of the ladder. I mean, a tremendous recruiter. He could go get athletes that could run the court. And he was a fierce competitor. And, you know, he had fight on the bench. You know what I mean? Fire. And what's his like it on a now Coach Henderson's talking about it's time for grind time. The season's over, sir. I mean, let's just get it over with because there's no competitiveness in this team. There's no fight. Hasn't been fight since the season started. And so you talk about, well, no question it's a young team, and you got to quit using the excuse, well, we got a young team. I didn't get that player. I mean, it's time to speak truths. It's like a change in our basketball program. But let's get to spring football. What does it mean under Coach Morris's class? Well, it means hope for a football program. And what did he do with a 2-10 season? Tremendous job by his whole staff to go get some players that's going to revitalize our program. And you'll see it this year. Because it begins with recruiting. It begins with a man with a vision and a dream. And so our baseball's just getting started. And I just want to say this, sir. Blow the whistle for me one last time. Because the whistle will be blowing on a football program in a very near future. Our basketball, again, Coach, Hunter Yurchek, sir, you're our athletic director. You've got decisions to make. And this, again, what Bob touched on it last week, it's a very special place up on the hill. Just look at the banners. And now you're accepting this. Well, keep accepting it, keep paying for it. Because that's more of what you're going to get because he's a poor recruiter. And if you cannot recruit, you cannot compete, which is what you're seeing. And that's a shame. I mean, for the players that have come through our program, that have built the facilities second to none in the country up there. So what are you going to do? My question to you, are you going to continue with mediocrity? Are you going to make a change very soon after tonight's game? And go get you a coach. We got money up there to go pay somebody. So go get them. I mean, quit losing. Quit making a democracy out of our basketball program because I believe this. I believe in all I'm not just a football fan. I want all our sports programs to compete at the highest level. And that's not taking place. And so 8 years is long enough. So write the check, get rid of Henderson, and bring in somebody that's going to turn this program around. And I expect the job to be done. If you don't, shame on you. Because the great players that have come, I mentioned them last week, the triplets. You go on under Nolan. I mean, the Big O, the Corliss Wilson, the Big Nasty. Where's the fight in this basketball program? I mean, and you keep saying, well, that's where the game's at. I don't got that player. You can't even recruit your home state kids. And that's a shame. I mean, these are the facts. It's time to start speaking truths, like it or not. You can criticize me, but I tell you this. I'll speak my opinion about it. I want to accept mediocrity. And so that's what's happened. We got an administration that starts at the top. And so, again, Hunter Yurchek, you're our athletic director. And you need to make sure, as our athletic director, we have high expectations of all our programs. And if they're not getting the job done after, 8 years, and you're bringing them back for 9, that's a shame. Blow the whistle one last time, because there'll be a time, when you said a while ago, there'll be a time. Can you win at the U of A in basketball again? You bet you can. We got the facilities, we got the fan base, and we got the money. It's just the belief in mediocrity. It's got to be gutted. Just like we gutted that mediocrity in a football program, we said it's enough. Let's go get somebody with a vision, a dream, to bring in the recruits, and you watch our football program turn around. You watch them light a fire in this football program, because we're going to a bowl this year, and if Clarksville's going to be enjoying every minute of it. And so you jump aboard, stay aboard the Hog Trail football program. Our baseball's just getting started. Tremendous baseball program. I mean, just lost the other night, but that's baseball. Let me tell you something. Address this basketball situation. I mean, after tonight, address it as soon as tomorrow. Because if you don't, shame on you, Hunter Yurchek. taking my call today.
It's Eddie in Clarksville. Eddie, we hope to hear from you again on Thursday. I feel like our last show wouldn't be fully complete without hearing from Eddie in Clarksville. So please,
absolutely,
please give us a call on Thursday as we end an era on this show. 877-447-4040. We'll react to Eddie's call and more when we come back.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
What's your more? Maybe it's more time sitting by your new pool. Watching your grandkids cannonball the day away. Whatever you'd like more of, Mega Millions from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery can turn those dreams into reality. And the next drawing is for more than $240 million. So go to your local lottery retailer and get your ticket to more today. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Life is better with basketball. And with First Security, we have the know-how to assist with your needs, plus a local team you could count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSbank.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Bo Mattingly, and for years we've been working hard to give you a great radio show chocked full of content involving the Razorbacks. Well, now we're taking all that energy, all those resources, and all of our time and putting it into things like great access, stories you haven't heard before, and things you can take and do something with. The Hog Pod, coming in March, a new podcast. Subscribe today. The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
Mike, what do you think the 35-25 rebounding difference, what role that played in the game?
I thought early in the game, it had a big role because they had so many second chance points. And I thought we did a better job in the second half. But then we were winning the turnover battle at halftime. And now you look at the end of the game, and now it's almost even. So if you look at the game, the rebounding enabled them not only to get to the free throw line, and there's a big difference in the game. They made 25, we made 15. That's a 10-point game. 10 points differential there.
What was the message to the guys afterward, and what's the locker room mood like?
Well, I think, they're hurt. Those guys are really, really disappointed. And the thing that I always tell them, they got to take the ownership, and obviously I've got to do a better job. So some of that falls on me. But at the end of the day, this one here, they got to get over real quick because the schedule continues. We got a quick turnaround. We've got Kentucky on the road. Then we got Ole Miss coming in here the weekend. So again, the games keep coming. And even with that being said, we're still in the hunt for something. I don't know what it is, but we got to build on. I thought we came out with the right mindset, with the energy. Again, it's about being consistent. And we had some guys that came off the bench, that they got to come with the energy. Whether they start or not, they got to come with that energy. So, again, with this team, you're still trying to continue to put the pieces together. But more importantly, make sure they understand that this team is going to be the sum of all the parts. And when all the parts are working, then we're a pretty efficient team.
We got it going for Gafford in the second half because he kind of tried to keep you in it, it looked like.
Yeah, I thought our guys did a good job of finding him in there, and then he did a much better job of catching and going up a lot strong. I thought in the first half he was he was second guessing himself. He missed a lot of easy chippies that he normally make, but I thought in the second half I thought he started gathering himself a lot more.
What was the decision to start Desi and Gabe, and how do you think they started out the game?
I thought they gave us it. I thought they played well. I thought those guys played well. It was a continuous of what took place in the last game. I thought they were energy guys defensively and offensively. They did a great job of penetrating and finding people, getting to the basket. Start off the game making shots for us. Gabe, you look at what he brought to the table. He ended up with 4 fouls. But the thing I love about him, they're going to give you everything they got. And that's what we're trying to get the guys. Give me everything you got.
Mike Scotty asked about how the players were doing, but you haven't lost 5 games in a row here. How are you doing? How do you feel right now?
You know, I go back to my statement earlier in the year and said, man, it's going to take a lot of patience, but I don't know if there's a lot of patience for that right there. There's enough patience for that. You know, I'm used to winning. That's the thing. I'm used to winning. And so, my job as a coach is to try to put us in the best possible shape to win a game, and so that's all my mindset is right now. You know, it was disappointing, but at the same time, this team has played some pretty good basketball, and this year, and in spite of all the new pieces. So my job, and it continues to be, is to put them in the best possible shape to win games. All right, thank you, guys.
And now, the Ozark Outpost Casual Clothing and Footwear Hog Update.
Spring football officially starts on Friday. Chad Moore is commenting how Connor Noland will balance baseball and football.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be here Tuesday. You know, I would anticipate we may have him here Friday. But how about that guy? I mean, you know, what a heck of a start that not just him, but our entire baseball team. And you know, it's impressive to watch him, and so I'm excited about him. But he'll be here, Bobby. He's going to be here and be around.
And speaking of dual sport athletes, Moore's also announcing Justice Hill will work out during spring ball at the position he chooses. The freshman out of Little Rock Christian was the Football Gatorade Player of the Year last fall, but is at Arkansas with the basketball program. And speaking of the men, they are at Kentucky tonight in Lexington.
They got depth, they got size, and obviously they're playing hard. And they're playing at home and they're playing well. It's a big challenge for us, but I think it's a great opportunity going in there. You know, there's no pressure on us.
It's a late tip-off, 8 p.m. on ESPN. I'm Melissa Orange for the Big Trail Nation, and that's your Hog Update.
Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Bowman.
Thanks, Alyssa. The Hog Update brought to you by Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost. Casual clothing and footwear, they're the stores that everyone's raving about. They provide the most unique experience for the sportsman and their whole family to enjoy together. Ozark Sportsman Supply employees have many years of experience in firearm sales, which means they have the knowledge that far exceeds your highest expectations. At the Ozarks, they have a much bigger vision than just selling one thing. They want the whole family to visit and enjoy time together. Visit Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Casual Clothing on Highway 412 West, just outside of Springdale in Taneytown. I'm Bart Pullman filling in for Bo today. He will be back in here tomorrow and Thursday for our final edition of this show. Dudley Dawson of Hogs Illustrated's in here for his final Tuesday appearance of the show. We're gonna try to get you in here or at least get you on the phone on Thursday, Dudley.
Okay.
So don't get all teary eyed about this being your final appearance.
Oh, I'll try not to.
Jason Kersey, covering college football for The Athletic, is joining us in studio as well. Jason, how are you, man?
I'm doing great.
You had a difficult time getting here today, right?
Yeah, so my car is in the shop right now, and so I had to Uber here, and I tried to type sport and story into Uber because I didn't know what you guys' address was. And the only thing that came up was something called Sport-Story in St. Petersburg, Russia, which, by the way, I didn't know you could Uber to Russia.
There's
you Uber there, stay at the Trump St. Petersburg hotel.
Oh yeah, right. But I mean, how do you like catch a boat, an Uber boat over there?
Yeah, great question. I wish you would have. You should select that.
I think you guys obviously like.
We don't want people to know where we are. We consider this to be a black site, just kind of off the grid.
But you do apparently have a St. Petersburg branch.
Well, that's where we want people to go if they're looking for us. We want them to go as far away as possible, literally around the globe.
So I've been here a million times, but I didn't know what the address was. So in the interest of keeping the secrecy, I'll just say I put in the name of a business that I know is near here and just had the guy drop me off here.
Old post office, yeah.
Yeah, the old post office.
I haven't seen Dudley in person in a while, but I saw you shirtless the other day on Twitter. That, was a little bit.
It's a little misleading. You could see my shoulders.
Yeah, well, you were shirtless. Were you shirtless or
Yes. Yes, but you couldn't see below my shoulders.
So I feel like you're going to need to explain this song because you were okay. That's enough.
I'm just giving you a hard
Please
time.
explain what's going on here.
We were doing these promotional videos for our new podcast, and Dudley was awesome. I asked him if he wanted to do something creative, and he goes to cryotherapy. I say that right, Dudley?
Yes.
I've had to practice that a few times.
Cryo Factory there in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Dudley let me come in and film him subscribing to our podcast in the cryo tube.
Yes.
What is a technical term?
Yes, I have not been in the transfer portal, but I have been in the cryo
tube. Yeah.
Tube, yes.
Okay, all right.
So that's kind of what's going on.
Hey, I
there.
couldn't resist saying something about that. Come on. Actually, it's not true. I saw you at that restaurant, Shogun.
Yes,
I saw you at
I had
Shogun.
my shirt on then.
You did.
Yes.
You did.
Shoguns, I like Shoguns.
Well,
Sorry, I'm just throwing everything off.
Now moving on to sports topics.
Yeah, let's talk about some sports, shall we? In fact, let's take some calls. Let's do that. First up, John is in North Little Rock, 877-447-4040. Hey, John.
Yeah, I listen every day, Bart, and you and a lot of your analysts are going, the Razorbacks aren't doing this, and they're not doing that, and they should be doing this, and they should be doing that. You ever thought it's just bad coaching?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, the coach is the one who's responsible for what a program is doing, right?
Well, yeah, Bart, but I don't even see when they make those stupid, crazy shots and they don't have a chance of going in. He doesn't even stand up and yell, do what you're taught, or do something, take them out, or do something. I don't see any coaching going on. It's just crazy. I think it's a bad coaching job this year. I really do. And I think Anderson needs to be gone. That's just my opinion. I think it's a bad coaching job. That's the only thing I got. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your thoughts, John. I mean, look, we're not in practice every day, so we don't know what's going on behind those doors. And we don't know what guys are doing in practice or what they're not doing in practice. And we don't know. I mean, look, Arkansas does not have, I'll try to say it like this. Arkansas has decent players.
Which is what Nolan Richardson said yesterday.
Right. They don't have great players. They don't have the type of players that are going to be competitive and who can just go out and win games against anybody. They won a game at LSU, sure. And I mean, you look back at that now and you kind of wonder how in the world that happened. But they need better players. And when you have a certain level of player, there's not a ton you can necessarily do. Like, at some point, it's just like, this is what it is. And these are the guys that I've got, and this is what it's going to be like until, there's some new blood in here. Now, that's all part of coaching. That's all part of running a program. And at the end of the day, the head coach is responsible for bringing those guys into the program.
I think this very easily could have been a 17-10, 18-9 team at this point. Lost too many games at home. Obviously, let one get away at South Carolina that they led 50-39 or whatever after the big dunk that gave South Carolina momentum somehow. But yeah, I mean, anytime you don't do as good as you expected, even though they were picked 10th, that's on the coach. The credit's on the coach. The blame's on the coach. Coach never gets credit, but he always gets the blame. That's one thing that Coach Richardson brought up in all his press conferences during the year, and that's the way it is.
And look, the other, this is a big misconception, I think, in just about every sport, especially at the collegiate level. And Dudley just said it better than anybody else could say it. The coach gets all the blame. He gets all the credit. Nobody ever puts a lot of blame on the players because you don't want to be too hard on college kids, right? But at some point, the players have to do what the coach is asking them to do. And that doesn't always happen. It doesn't happen in football. I mean, I could give you tons of examples of it not happening with Razorback football last year. And it hasn't always happened in basketball this year. And there are tons of examples you could point to that where guys aren't running the offense the way it's supposed to be run. And when you look down your bench and you don't have any other options, that's what you got. You can't just pull people out just to pull people out and put walk-ons in. I mean, unless you want every game to look like the one at Auburn. But again, that's all part of running the program, managing the program, and being the head coach. That's what it is. Sterling's in Center Ridge. Sterling, welcome to Sports Talk.
Hey guys, and I hate to beat a dead horse on this Anderson thing. I'm for him 100%, and I'm like Dudley. This rookie could only be just a tad bit better. I think at best we could be a team that's looking at an 8-9 seed again, and I think at worst is what we got right now, and I think we could have been in the middle like one of those last 4 in or last 4 out teams. It's probably what we should be, I think. But nevertheless, this team wasn't picked to do much, and I didn't think this team was gonna be world beaters in the first place. I just like everybody to just think about this program and do you honestly think this guy can't get this? So I mean, what's your expectation to be back in the Final Four in 8 years? I mean, I know this is. But everybody say year 8. But I mean, you gotta go the journey. I mean, at the beginning, if you say in year 8 you expect to be better than this is one thing, but you need to look at how we got here and what happened, and take all that into account. And I know Hunter would do that, and whether he dismissed one of my favorite coaches ever at the university or not, I'm gonna still be with the program. Dudley, I want to touch on the Cardinals briefly. I know this is a Razorback show. What's up with Carlos Martinez and Ozuna? Ozuna seems to be a little bit out of shape, period. Arm out of shape, and him himself seems to be out of shape a little bit. And Martinez, they say he's going to be shut down for a couple of weeks, and next thing you know, he's in a sling. What's going on there? And y'all have a wonderful day.
Well, with Carlos Martinez, he's certainly been injury riddled here lately, and I think he had the promise of being one of the best pitchers in the game, but he's kind of backed away from that, and I don't know where he stands. If he's going to have to get back and prove something this year, or he's going to move on because the Cardinals have so much talent. As far as Ozuna, had surgery over the year, I don't know about him being out of shape. Obviously, his arm was in bad shape last year, and he had surgery on that over the winter. But we'll see how spring training goes here.
877-447-4040. When you get in here, we've now reached our Major League Baseball quota for the month on this program. We will talk some hog football when we come back. How's that sound? Get into some hog football, maybe some SEC football. Hear from Jason.
Sounds good.
Sorry, Jason. A couple of basketball-related calls in there. And
it's okay.
Unless you're sitting on a super hot take on Razorback basketball that we haven't unearthed.
You know what? I probably shouldn't. But I will say Brandon Myers tweeted at us and said that your address is on your Facebook page.
Yeah, he tweets at us a lot.
I'm just saying,
it was
this top secret CIA stuff you're trying to do.
It was tongue in cheek.
Big hole in that there.
And I guess that didn't go over as tongue in cheek on the radio. But Jason, what I'll say to you is maybe you should have just looked a little harder.
Probably just a little bit.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
The Ozarks, one incredible store featuring Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost clothing and footwear. The Ozarks, 23,000 square feet of incredible products, where every day is a sale. At the Ozarks, prices are marked down upon arrival on almost every product, which means they are immediately passing big savings on to you. Bring the whole family into the Ozarks for a shopping experience like no other. Where else can you find firearms, camo, and the hottest boutique brands all in one place? It's only at the Ozarks. They also have the best selection of gun safes in the region with free delivery within 30 miles. Don't forget, they have a live fire 15-lane indoor gun range as well. At the Ozarks, you'll find hunting and fishing supplies, bikes, kayaks, knives, boots, you name it, they've got it. So much for the whole family to discover at the Ozarks. Check out Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear, Highway 412 west of Springdale in Tawnytown. Be sure to follow them on social media to see what daily sales are happening at the Ozarks. Lindsay Golf Courses range from 27-hole championship to 9-hole par 3s and are making a presence in affordable country club memberships for both individuals and families. Our challenging courses and extensive amenities are designed to attract golfers of all ability levels and offer recreational and social opportunities for members. Lindsay 18-hole championship golf courses can be found in Northwest Arkansas, Paradise Valley Athletic Club in Fayetteville, and in Rogers at Lost Springs Golf and Athletic Club. Or you can visit lindsaymanagement.com for a complete list of Lindsay golf courses.
What's your more? Maybe it's more time sitting by your new pool. Watching your grandkids cannonball the day away. Whatever you'd like more of, Mega Millions from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery can turn those dreams into reality. And the next drawing is for more than $240 million. So go to your local lottery retailer and get your ticket to more today. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Life is better with football. And with First Security, we have the know-how to tackle your needs, plus a local team you can count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSbank.com, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
Mike, what do you think the 35-25 rebounding difference, what role that played in the game?
I thought early in the game, it had a big role because they had so many second chance points. And I thought we did a better job in the second half. But then we were winning the turnover battle at halftime. And now you look at the end of the game, and now it's almost even. So if you look at the game, the rebounding enabled them not only to get to the free throw line, and there's a big difference in the game. They made 25, we made 15. That's a 10-point game. 10 points differential there.
What was the message to the guys afterward, and what's the locker room mood like?
Well, I think, they're hurt. Those guys are really, really disappointed. And the thing that I always tell them, they got to take the ownership, and obviously I've got to do a better job. So some of that falls on me. But at the end of the day, this one here, they got to get over real quick because the schedule continues. We got a quick turnaround. We got Kentucky on the road. Then we got Ole Miss coming in here the weekend. So again, the games keep coming. And even with that being said, we're still in the hunt for something. I don't know what it is, but we got to build on. I thought we came out with the right mindset, with the energy. Again, it's about being consistent. And we had some guys that came off the bench, that they got to come with the energy. Whether they start or not, they got to come with that energy. So, again, with this team, you're still trying to continue to put the pieces together. But more importantly, make sure they understand that this team is going to be the sum of all the parts. And when all the parts are working, then we're a pretty efficient team.
We got it going for Gafford in the second half because he kind of tried to keep the end of it.
Now, time for the SEC Report.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
Here is Bart Pullman.
SEC basketball as we head toward the last 4 games of the season, the last 2 weeks of the season for SEC teams. There's a 3-way tie atop the league. Tennessee, Kentucky, LSU, all 12-2. It's a 3-way race for the title. Tennessee and Kentucky still play each other. So that game will likely eliminate one of these teams from the race for the league title. Tennessee looking for back-to-back league titles. They were co-champion last year with Auburn, but they've got a 3-game lead. Those 3 teams have a 3-game lead on Ole Miss and South Carolina, which is one of the oddest teams in college basketball this year. They were horrible in SEC play, or in non-conference play. They're 9-5 in SEC play, which brings their total for the season to 14-13. A very odd.
The best of the 14 and 13 teams in the conference.
Without question. Without question. And then you've got Mississippi State and Florida at 8-6. Auburn and Alabama are 7-7. And then it's a drop back to Arkansas and Texas A&M 5-9. Vanderbilt 0-14 in conference play. They've lost 15 straight.
You are listening to Sports Talk, produced by Bart Pullman, directed by Sawyer Radler. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now.
Anytime, anywhere.
Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
You can love where you live and play at an apartment community managed by Lindsay Management Company Incorporated. Affordable apartments with awesome amenities, including clubhouses, fitness centers, pools, tennis courts, and sparkling lakes with fountains at select locations. Many locations also provide business centers, game rooms, tanning beds, whirlpools, saunas, and resort-style pools. You can view rates, photos, and apply online today at lindsaymanagement.com. The Ozarks, one incredible store featuring Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear. The Ozarks, 23,000 square feet of incredible products, where every day is a sale. At the Ozarks, prices are marked down upon arrival on almost every product, which means they are immediately passing big savings on to you. Bring the whole family into the Ozarks for a shopping experience like no other. Where else can you find firearms, camo, and the hottest boutique brands all in one place? It's only at the Ozarks. They also have the best selection of gun safes in the region with free delivery within 30 miles. Don't forget, they have a live fire 15-lane indoor gun range as well. At the Ozarks, you'll find hunting and fishing supplies, bikes, kayaks, knives, boots, you name it, they've got it. So much for the whole family to discover at the Ozarks. Check out Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear, Highway 412 west of Springdale in Tawnytown. Be sure to follow them on social media to see what daily sales are happening at the Ozarks.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
We got it going for Gafford in the second half because he kind of tried to keep the end of it, look like.
Yeah, I thought our guys did a good job of finding him in there, and then he did a much better job of catching and going up a lot strong. I thought in the first half he was he was second guessing himself. He missed a lot of easy chippies that he normally make, but I thought in the second half I thought he started gathering himself a lot more.
What was the decision to start Desi and Gabe, and how do you think they started out the game?
I thought they gave us it. I thought they played well. I thought those guys played well. It was a continuous of what took place in the last game. I thought they were energy guys defensively and offensively. I think Desi did a great job of penetrating and finding people, getting to the basket, start off the game making shots for us. Gabe, you look at what he brought to the table. He ended up with 4 fouls. But the thing I love about them, they're going to give you everything they got. And that's what we're trying to get the guys. Give me everything you got.
Right, Scotty asked about how the players were doing, but you haven't lost 5 games in a row here. How are you doing? How do you feel right now?
I go back to my statement earlier in the year and said, man, it's going to take a lot of patience, but I don't know if there's a lot of patience for that right there. There's enough patience for that. I'm used to winning. That's the thing. I'm used to winning. And so, my job as coach is to try to put us in the best possible shape to win a game, and so that's all my mindset is right now. It was disappointing, but at the same time, this team has played some pretty good basketball, and this year, and in spite of all the new pieces. So my job, and it continues to be, is to put them in the best possible shape to win games. Thank you, guys.
Mike, what do you think that the 35-25 rebounding difference, what role that played in the game?
I thought early in the game, I thought it had a big role because they had so many second chance points, and I thought we did a better job in the second half. But then we were winning the turnover battle at halftime, and now you look at the end of the game, and now it's almost even. So if you look at the game, the rebounding enabled them not only to get to the free throw line, and there's a big difference in the game. They made 25, we made 15. It's a 10-point game. 10 points differential there.
What was the message to the guys afterward, and what's the locker room mood like?
Well, I think, they're hurt. Those guys are really, really disappointed. And the thing that I always tell them, they got to take the ownership, and obviously I've got to do a better job. So some of that falls on me. But at the end of the day, this one here, they got to get over real quick because the schedule continues. We got a quick turnaround. We got Kentucky on the road. Then we got Ole Miss coming in here the weekend. So again, the games keep coming. And even with that being said, we're still in the hunt for something. I don't know what it is, but we got to build on. I thought we came out with the right mindset, with the energy. Again, it's about being consistent. And we had some guys that came off the bench, that they got to come with the energy. Whether they start or not, they got to come with that energy. So, again, with this team, you're still trying to continue to put the pieces together. But more importantly, make sure they understand that this team is going to be the sum of all the parts. And when all the parts are working, then we're a pretty efficient team.
I know you're gonna dig this.
14 veces ganador de majors.
Clay had his hand up. He thought the gentleman was asking who wants a Corona. He had his hand up in the air.
I said,
I'll actually have Tecate, please.
This
it's all dope here.
is
Answer me now.
No Way Sports Talk.
We need to hire a batter, Coach Gilbert.
Wow.
If I get a request to come on your show, it's drop everything and make it happen at all costs.
How about a little decorum in here on a work day?
Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Pullman.
How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good Tuesday? Nice Tuesday.
Heck yeah, the weather's awesome.
Enjoying the nice weather before it turns to crap again. By the way, while we're on the subject,
What's bugging Bart?
I can't take it anymore!
you know what's bugging me? Mother Nature's bugging me. I'm tired of this tease, this weather tease that we have going on. Like, it gets warm for a couple of days. You're like, wow, spring's finally starting to show up. It's a great day. Maybe I'll be able to play some golf this weekend. And then you look at like 2 days out and it's going to be 20 and snowing. God bless you, Saul.
Did that go over the air?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody heard that.
I even muted
That
my
was an
mic.
impressive hair flip while doing it, by the way.
Yes, Dudley.
It was.
Wouldn't know about those, but
Me either.
No.
Me either.
That's Dudley Dawson, Jason Kersey from The Athletic.
It's
in
bald
here
day
as well.
here on Sports
It's
Talk.
bald day on Sports Talk.
If Bo were here, yes, it would be.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, well, there will be other occasions for that moving forward.
I was about to say a couple.
I found the reason I'm hacked off about the weather is because I want it to be warmer. I'm tired of the cold. We're getting into March. It's time for warmer weather. It's time for people to start thinking about, spring break, summer vacation. And if that's something that you're thinking about, then I have the solution for you. I have a solution. Mark your calendar, folks, for July 12th through 15th, 2019, for what is certain to be the most fun football event of the year, the inaugural Steve Spurrier Cruise. That's right.
Yes, you heard him right.
That's right. The Steve Spurrier Cruise. You might be asking yourself, what is the Steve Spurrier Cruise? Well, I'm going to tell you with this description I pulled from the website SpurrierCruise.com. Picture yourself on Royal Caribbean's beautiful Ms. Mariner of the Seas, along with fellow Coach Spurrier fans and his entire coaching staff, having fun and in-depth discussions about the Alliance of American Football, the Orlando Apollos, the players, and more.
Hey, Ron.
The glorious Miss Mariner of the Seas will be visiting the Bahamas, and while it's at sea, there will be a tremendous number of all-inclusive exclusives. Nice rhyming there. Available only to those who reserve a cabin via SpurrierCruise.com.
All the autographers were out there, and of course the cell phones with the videos and the cameras, putting it all out.
Exclusive events include Q&A sessions.
Just talking. I sort of call it the talking season.
Welcome receptions with the coaches, private excursions, dining with fellow fans and coaches, beach Olympics, okay, photo and autograph sessions, and plenty of time to schmooze, their word, not mine, with the Apollos coaches.
On delay, my beer awaits. I got my visor with the beer opener on it. Ding dong, next stop, beer. Cerveza Express coming through.
The Cerveza Express, a.k.a. the Steve Spurrier Cruise. SpurrierCruise.com for more information.
That's so awesome.
Well, what is this going to cost?
I was just looking, actually, but I can't tell if this is
like a typical cruise cost.
Jason, immediate reaction. Are you going on the Steve Spurrier Cruise?
Well, I mean, I don't think I can afford the Steve Spurrier
Oh, you
Cruise.
got to get that into your, like, The Athletic has to do a feature on it.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe I could pull it off that way, make it a business thing.
Yeah, business expense.
But, like, so, I mean, he's kind of the perfect guy to do something like this, but I'm wondering, like, what Arkansas sports figure would you want to go on a cruise with?
Bill Clinton.
That's a great question.
Is he a sport?
Good answer.
I was thinking John Daly.
Daly would
be good too, but yeah, you know.
Bill Clinton cruise. Ugh, well,
it'd be exciting. That's
the Love Boat.
Nice.
Hillary wouldn't be invited. Is what you're saying?
No, probably not. Probably not. That's a good question, Jason. I'll have to think about that. The Arkansas sports figure who. Oh no!
Somebody call in and
I've
say
got
who.
It. No, I've got it. I'm sorry. I mean, you're free to call in 877-447-4040.
I want to hear what people think.
If you have an idea that beats the idea I'm about to lay down, Barry Switzer.
Oh, Barry's up there with John Daly and
yeah, Switzer would be
pretty great.
Have a swear jar. You can make a lot of money on that.
Dudley, will you be vacationing on the Spurrier Cruise?
No.
No, I didn't sell you on it.
No. We're going to San Diego this summer, and I think that'll be enough.
I mean,
I've never been to San Diego. I've heard it's awesome though.
I actually believe it's pronounced San Diego.
Diego.
Yes.
So I decided to figure out, because this thing says that you're on the cruise with fellow Coach Spurrier fans, which is kind of weird, and his entire coaching staff. And so I decided, well, who's on his coaching staff? Well, you've got Bob Sanders as the defensive coordinator. Hey, Bob. Jim Jeffcoat is the defensive line coach.
Former Cowboy.
Jim Collins is the linebackers coach. Donnie Abraham is the cornerbacks coach, longtime NFL player Donnie Abraham. The safeties coach is Lito Shepherd.
Lito took that boat that day.
Todd Washington is the offensive tackles coach. I don't know Todd. Jim Stevens is the offensive guards coach. I don't know him. Willie Jackson's the wide receivers coach. David Reeves, the running backs coach. And Scott Spurrier is the tight ends coach.
Nepotism.
Yeah. Just like Bobby at Louisville. I don't know if that convinces you to go on the Spurrier cruise. Me personally, it does not. I would want Steve Spurrier to be on the cruise. I would want it to be like Spurrier and Phil Fulmer on the cruise together, so that Spurrier could just take shots at Tennessee the entire time.
And
he was
Bobby
on
Bowden.
the cruise. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it like this, just get Spurrier and all these old coaches going. They'd all do it.
The old coaches cruise.
Yeah, they don't have. It'd be great. It'd be great. That would be like something you would sign up for.
Get Bielema on there.
No, then it'd be a party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Then it'd be a party. 877-447-4040. Scott's in Ashflat. Scott, what's going on?
You're talking about cruises, Bart?
That's right, we are.
Well, let's go Danielle Gibson first, and then I'm thinking maybe the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. None of the politicians. Come on,
Arkansas coaching figures.
Jerry
Scott,
Jones. Jerry Jones.
Arkansas sports figures is where we were going.
Jerry Jones.
Well, I got Danielle, so all right. I'd say Sidney Moncrief would be next for me. He's close to my heart. Let me think. How about Dan Hampton, maybe? He should be a good interview. And let's see, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Yeah, okay.
I see a theme here.
Thanks, Scott.
Well, now, come on. What do you think?
We were going for Arkansas sports figures, but I can tell where your mind's at, Scott.
Well, now listen. I give you 3 out of 4, didn't I? Arkansas sports figures.
That's 75%. That's a C, Scott.
All right, Bubba. Thanks a lot, man.
You bet. Melanie's in Harrison. Melanie, go ahead.
Hey, I don't have anybody to contribute, but I'll go if I get to meet Lito Shepherd. He played for the Eagles for several seasons. Of course. That'd be awesome.
I was wondering if you were going to call in when I mentioned Lito Shepherd.
Heck yes, I'll go, and especially if he can bring Nick Foles, because I understand he's a free agent and isn't anywhere yet.
Well,
it can be restricted free agent.
Melanie, you can go to www.spurriercruise.com for more information.
Yeah, but you can keep Jerry Jones. I don't like him either. I can put him right up there with the way I feel. Ultimate contempt with Robert Kraft.
He's not now. Jerry's not on the cruise. I do want to be clear.
I know.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page.
I got you. I was just throwing that out there along with the other guy mentioned him. So.
Hey, thanks for the call, Melanie.
Have a good one, guys. See you later.
You too. I was trying to look up how much the cruise costs.
I was trying to look at that too, and
it appears you can get a double cabin on the cruise ship for $926 per person. That's a practical steal for this type of event, I think.
And it's for the whole week. They do how many days?
Is that all inclusive?
No, it's July 12th through 15th.
Oh, it's only 3 days?
Yeah, but that's your total. It's all inclusive. So that's your total for the whole thing. Food, drink, room, board.
Yeah, but who goes on a boat for 3 days? I feel like that's got to be a full week.
Steve Spurrier, apparently.
Is it? Right? Does it say where
it's like a week?
Gilligan and Mr. Howell were supposed to only go
It goes
for
to the
3
Bahamas, and you spend a day in Nassau and in some other place in the Bahamas.
Have you guys been on a cruise? I've never been on a cruise.
No, I don't really.
Is
I
it,
have not been
Petra and
on
I
a cruise.
went on our honeymoon.
Is it fun?
Yeah, I had a ball.
Okay.
I have never.
It was all inclusive, and the refreshment stand stayed open 24 hours.
Something about just being on a boat for an extended period of time just doesn't really do a ton for me. Like
I'm just afraid I'd get a little motion sickness. That's the only.
You really don't. Or I didn't at least. Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know.
I just kind of prefer to go to the beach.
It was just like on
a
big moving house.
Yeah. Did you stop a bunch of different places?
Yeah, six different places.
Oh, a lot of them have
4 different
casinos
countries
and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now I do appreciate a good casino.
I knew that.
How much do you get to get out and explore the places you stop, though?
About 3 or 4 hours at each stop if you want to.
That's not bad.
Okay. Petra and I won the dance contest, so
Really?
That actually does not surprise me.
Is there
at all.
video footage of this anywhere?
No, but Bill Harrelson, the former coach, former high school football coach around here, looked up and saw him, and that was kind of shocking. while finishing my move.
You never know who you're going to see when you go on a cruise.
Yes.
It might just be Steve Spurrier. Nelson is in Harrison, 877-447-4040. Nelson, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. I'd like to go with Nolan Richardson or Kareem Reed.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't say John Pelfrey.
Well, I would take John Pelfrey, thank you very much. And just let me tell you something about that, buddy. If they'd have let John Pelfrey at 8 years, he'd have been a lot better than Anderson. So just take that. Guarantee you he would have.
Guarantee, okay.
You tell me what that Mike Anderson's done that Pelfrey didn't do. Pelfrey took us to the SEC championship game. Pelfrey took us to the NCAA tournament, won a game in the NCAA tournament. So what has Mike Anderson done any better than Pelfrey? And I'll get off here. Bye.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Nelson. Good to hear from you. I'm not even sure I want to go there. I mean, at this point, I don't think there's any point in having the John Pelfrey conversation. It's beyond clear that Mike Anderson is a far better basketball coach than John Pelfrey, and has done far better at Arkansas than John Pelfrey has. Mike Anderson has had 2 of the best seasons for the Arkansas program since 1996. So John Pelfrey didn't do that, and John Pelfrey kind of nuked things while he was the coach. Great guy, not a fit, not a great coach.
Yeah, I still see him a lot on the AAU basketball circuit. Obviously, he's an assistant for Alabama, but it was more about a culture thing that ended up with him going out and Coach Anderson coming in than it was on the court stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 877-447-4040 if you want to get in here. If you want to go on the Steve Spurrier cruise, that is www.spurriercruise.com. Back with your calls and more conversation after this.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
Hey, it's Bo Mattingly. I hope you'll check out our new podcast, The Hog Pod, coming in March. It's super easy to subscribe now, so new episodes are delivered straight to your phone, your tablet, or your computer, wherever podcasts are available. Just search iTunes, the podcast app, Spotify, or Google Play for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly. Hit subscribe, and you're good to go. It's that easy. So subscribe and sign up now, and don't miss out on any of the upcoming Hog Pod episodes.
Life is better with basketball. And with First Security, we have the know-how to assist with your needs, plus a local team you could count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSbank.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Lindsay Golf Courses range from 27-hole championship to 9-hole par 3s and are making a presence in affordable country club memberships for both individuals and families. Our challenging courses and extensive amenities are designed to attract golfers of all ability levels and offer recreational and social opportunities for members. In Bryant, Hurricane Golf and Country Club. Benton, Long Hills Golf Club. Conway, Centennial Valley Golf and Country Club. Nutters Chapel Golf and Country Club, and in Little Rock, Eagle Hill Golf and Athletic Club. Lindsay Golf Courses. The Ozarks, one incredible store featuring Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear. The Ozarks, 23,000 square feet of incredible products, where every day is a sale. At the Ozarks, prices are marked down upon arrival on almost every product. which means they are immediately passing big savings on to you. Bring the whole family into the Ozarks for a shopping experience like no other. Where else can you find firearms, camo, and the hottest boutique brands all in one place? It's only at the Ozarks. They also have the best selection of gun safes in the region with free delivery within 30 miles. Don't forget, they have a live fire 15-lane indoor gun range as well. At the Ozarks, you'll find hunting and fishing supplies, bikes, kayaks, knives, boots, you name it, they've got it. So much for the whole family to discover at the Ozarks. Check out Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Clothing and Footwear, Highway 412 west of Springdale in Tawnytown. Be sure to follow them on social media to see what daily sales are happening at the Ozarks.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
Start us off, please.
Well, it started off with, I think McLemore made a three-point shot, and it kind of snowballed. We know they're a terrific three-point shooting team, and they made 17 tonight. Our defense didn't do a good job of getting out there and finding their shooters, and we know they go on a run, and they can really go off, and they did tonight. And we couldn't make any shots. They did a good job early on of really just packing it on Dan, and the guys that would normally shoot the ball well for us, I mean, they go, I think it was like 6 for 27, and go 4 for 20 from three-point land. And I guess a team like Auburn, you can't do that, so it allowed them to sack their defense. But I was proud of the guys that came off the bench. I thought Desi came and gave us some toughness that you got to have on the road. Gabe Osaborn, I thought he came in. Reggie Chaney, along with Keyshawn Embry. So I learned a little bit more about our basketball team in the face of adversity. But Auburn, we know what they're capable of doing, and obviously they had their way tonight.
Mike, they took on you 22-1. Obviously, the United States had that 23-1. Did you feel there was like a carryover thing?
No, I don't. I don't think there was no day. I thought they just came out and made shots, and we didn't defend. And when you don't defend, that's what happens.
Isaiah especially said he missed some good open looks. So that was a tough night.
They had some open looks. He and Mason, they all had some open looks. Dan had some open looks there. I mean, even you think about the epitome was he had a wide open dunk and he misses the dunk. That's the kind of night it was. It was, free throws. We go 50% from the free throw line. We made him turn it over 21 times, but I don't think we took advantage of that.
4 straight losses at the same time this season. You guys responded pretty good the first time. How do you think you guys responded?
Well, I think we were responding the right way. I think, like I said, what I saw in the second half, that's a sign that we will respond the right way. What I saw in the second half, especially with those guys. I started with the guys that finished off the half, and I thought it was a difference in.
You are dialed into Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe. Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Pullman.
Offensively, as we've mentioned, we've got to create and expand on our offensive identity. I know Coach Craddock probably talked a little bit to y'all last week about that. It's something that I'm very passionate about. We got to get this offense right. We're going to get this offense right. And we weren't as productive in any way, shape, form, or fashion that was up to our standard last year. And so I expect that to be a major emphasis, getting back to just our identity.
That's Chad Morris, the Arkansas head coach, yesterday at a news conference to kind of kick off spring practice. Practice actually starting Friday for the Razorbacks. I think, Jason Dudley, if there was anything that was really surprising, I mean, I think most people knew it would kind of be a struggle in year one for Chad Morris, just when you looked at the personnel on the roster, and making a bowl game was always going to be a tall ask. But if there was anything that was really surprising, it was just how bad Arkansas looked offensively last year, especially when that's Chad Morris's bread and butter.
Yeah, and you look at the season, you obviously should have beat Colorado State. You probably could have picked up another win there along the way somewhere, but 2-10, one of the worst seasons ever, but it ended with hope because of the recruiting, and that's what has been able to carry him into this offseason, I believe, without too many people predicting it will be a definite disaster.
Yeah, and I mean, but to your point, like about offense, I think that was the thing that surprised me the most watching them is that I mean, I didn't expect him to be great last year. I didn't even really expect him to go to a bowl game. But, I mean, I thought they would have some signs of life on offense. I think it just speaks to how bad they were at quarterback. I mean, that's where it all starts. Those offenses depend on the quarterback so much, and that's why I think it was pretty good for them that they went out and got a guy in Ben Hicks who may not be the most skilled quarterback in the SEC, but he knows this system. And that, to me, at the very least, even if they're not good again next year, it at least gives them a chance to sort of move this thing forward, install more of the offense, and get the rest of the guys more acclimated to it so that the next year the team and maybe the quarterbacks are more advanced. I think that was important.
And we'll have Nick Starkel, the Texas A&M quarterback, who's transferring in here this weekend for his official visit, and we'll see how that turns out.
Is that so? He's immediately eligible too, isn't he?
Yeah, right. He'll have 2 years left, but he has to finish up his courses, and that will be July 1st when he's done.
Okay, so if he picks Arkansas, then he could conceivably come in and win the job, but
yes,
but he would be behind probably a little bit.
Yes, because Hicks will be here has run this offense for 3 years,
right.
I guess, and will be here during the spring.
Yeah.
Chad Morris has been clear on something too, that he's determined to get quarterback right and to get a quarterback who can come in and do what he wants to do. And if that means bringing in another grad transfer quarterback, then he'll bring in another grad transfer quarterback. And I think they like what they have in KJ Jefferson, but it's also unrealistic to expect KJ Jefferson, to come in the fall and then start playing right away.
Yeah, and even his Carl Diffie, his high school quarterback, his high school coaches told me that he's of the mindset that it would be better for KJ if he could come in, going to ease into things, play the 4 games you can play and still redshirt, and then take over down the line. And so he realizes that it's a jump from high school to college. I think a lot of people overlook that you're not facing Arizona, Alabama, LSU, different defenses than facing Alma, Van Buren and the others. So.
Little bit, just a little bit.
That's why I think I'll be real interested to see just in college football broadly, that 4-game rule. We've got 1 year of it, but moving forward, how much it helps those freshman quarterbacks who can all of a sudden come in and get a little game experience. I mean, how much will those 4 games affect them the next year if they're the starter as a redshirt freshman? How much we already see that true freshmen like Trevor Lawrence and Jalen Hurts and Tua and those guys can come in and start right away, but the guys maybe on the next tier down if those 4 games actually help them.
And will they stay?
Will they stay?
That was the unintended consequence of this, was that everybody could say, well, I'm not being treated right here. I'm only going to play 4 games. I'm out.
It's unbelievable.
It's the new world of college football, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And until something happens to change the rule again, which I think we're probably looking at down the line because of this loophole that's been created now in the rule book.
Yeah. I mean, the portal is great. I mean, I've always sort of been a guy, and I think a lot of us in the media are guys who support player rights and support, more freedom for these guys and all those sorts of things. But there has to be a line. And when a guy like Justin Fields goes to Georgia and then can leave and get immediately eligible,
that's free agency.
It's like that. We need to have a conversation about that. Right. And that's not just, somebody stuck in the old ways who doesn't want guys to be able to do what they want to do. But I mean, there was no good reason why he should have been eligible. There was no family reason why he had to get to Ohio or anything like that. And that, I think, is a problem. And that may be where it careens a little bit too far that way.
877-447-4040 is the number if you want to get in here. When we come back, we will relive one of the truly profoundly great moments in the history of this show. It happened when I was sitting in this chair filling in for Bo, and I'm really excited that we get to relive it one more time.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
Razorback women's basketball is back inside Bud Walton Arena on Sunday, February 24th at 3 p.m. for a matchup with SEC conference opponent Ole Miss. Tickets are $5 for adults and free for all kids 12 and under. Bring out the family and help us celebrate our senior class. Get your tickets at the door or call 1-800-982-HOGS or visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com. Stand side by side with Razorback women's basketball.
Do you enjoy golf? Come live at a Links apartment community and love where you live and play. You get free golf privileges, a resort-style pool, great fitness center, and a whole lot more. Our 9-hole courses offer you challenging and quality golf right outside your front door. All that you need and want, we have. View rates, photos, and apply online today. Or check out a complete list of locations by visiting lindsaymanagement.com. That's lindsaymanagement.com.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
All right, first off, congratulations to Billy and his team. I thought from the first time we played them, they were much more improved. And we saw them play with I thought they played a little more edge than we did, even in the first half. It was a one-point game. But I thought we came out, we shook the line up and had some guys come out and gave us some pretty good energy. And so coming in the second half, you wanted to see that same energy, the same mindset defensively getting after it. I think one of the key stats in the first half obviously was the second chance points. And I thought we did a better job in the second half, but until, going down the stretch when they had to make plays, you see them come up with loose balls, tips in, and so the game was won in the paint. You're talking about the free throw lines, the rebounding, just play a little more tougher, I think, than us. And but we had chances. It's a 2-point game, and we got the basketball, and obviously you got to execute. I think we're 8 minutes, and then even a 3-point game with 6 minutes to go. But they ended up making plays. I thought Flagg made some big shots for them. And, of course, we already know that Starks is a good player. But I think a big guy tonight for them was the Mitchell kid. He didn't play well in the first game, but he's been playing really well. And with our guys, again, it's we talk about the confidence level. And we always talk about trying to finish strong. And of course, we saw it again. We didn't make the plays going down the stretch. I think we had back-to-back turnovers, and it's a 2-point game. And then you look up, now we're down 7. And we had some shots that didn't go in, and Mason had a good look. I think Isaiah had a good look, and now they're turning those turnovers into easy offense for them, layups.
Defense, when it was tight, like you said, it seemed to me like you didn't get stops. I can't remember how many consecutive, but how critical is that in that point?
I thought it was really. I mean, I thought that's what Price got to kick in, and we've been done a pretty good job throughout the game. And then I thought when we needed those stops. And a lot of times we made them take tough shots, and they would come up with the basketball. I remember one, I think we doubled up on Nebo. He shot a left-handed shot, and we had people in position, but somehow I think Flagg came up with it and put the ball in the hole right up under the basket. So, and that's, again, understanding the timing in the game that you got to get stops. You got to get stops. And so they end up shooting 58%, and their team that scores probably 70-some-odd points a game. Again, credit them for making plays when they had to.
After tonight, 6 home losses this year, how tough is that to swallow, just knowing you've been so good here in the past?
I always talk about it. This is one of the places where people don't even come here thinking they got a chance. And so I'm disappointed in that. I really am. Our fans have been fantastic. They were great tonight, just trying to will this basketball team. And sometimes our guys got to look in the mirror. That's what I said. They got to look in the mirror. And even to me, from that standpoint, what are we doing that we're not doing? And one of the things I know, our kids are fighting. They're playing hard. They're playing their hearts out. But at the end of the day, I think what takes place is sometimes the inexperience, and we never know. Some of these guys may be hitting that wall. There's a time where you start hitting that wall, and as I told them, you just got to fight through it.
Mike, what do you think the 35-25 rebounding difference, what role that played in the game?
And now, the Ozark Sportsman Supply Hog Update.
Chad Morris making this announcement on Monday.
Our running backs, all of them are back. Rakeem Boyd will not be a part of spring. TJ Hammonds is not on the team. So Rakeem is out. Devwall Whaley, Chase Hayden. This is a tremendous opportunity for these young men in their second year to elevate their game.
Boyd had shoulder surgery after last season. No official word on why Hammonds is not with the team. Spring practice starts on Friday. The men's basketball team on the road tonight at Kentucky.
When you go and play the game, it's 0-0, and you hope you go and play some of your best basketball, one of your better games for 40 minutes. I think that's that's my mindset. That's going to be our team's mindset.
The fourth-ranked Wildcats currently on a 3-game win streak. Tip-off at 8 p.m. on ESPN. I'm Melissa Orange for the Pig Trail Nation, and that's your Hog Update.
Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Bowman.
Thanks, Melissa. The Hog Update brought to you by Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Casual Clothing. It's the most unique experience for the sportsman and their whole family to enjoy together. Ozark Sportsman Supply employees have many years of experience in firearm sales, which means they have the knowledge that far exceeds your highest expectations. At the Ozarks, they have a much bigger vision than just selling one thing. They want the whole family to visit and enjoy time together. Visit Ozark Sportsman Supply and Ozark Outpost Casual Clothing on Highway 412 West, just outside of Springdale in Taneytown. Well, as we wind down to the end of this show, Thursday, our last edition of Sports Talk, we're reliving some of our favorite moments through the years on the show. And I wasn't going to let today go by with me sitting in this chair without bringing back one of my absolute favorite things that has ever happened on this show. It involved the Snake from Pulaski County calling in with a story about Bigfoot.
And now, Sports Talk. GOAT.
Greatest of all time. Moment in time.
Kurt Voigt of the Associated Press in here with me as well. And the Snake is in Pulaski County. Snake, go ahead.
Bart, is it true that you still wear your Never Yield t-shirt to work?
Well, I don't own one of those to begin with, so no, that would be false.
Well, I would think it would be time to, retire that maybe, and let's move on to something else.
Well, I don't have one, so sorry.
Just don't tell them about your underwear, though.
Yeah, well, that's a different day.
I was wondering when you're going to come forward with your predictions. 2 years ago, you predicted 10 wins for the Razorbacks, and then last year 9.
I don't think that's accurate.
It's on record.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Go ahead.
Well, Bo calls this the Razorback World Record.
Yeah, it is, but that requires you to get your records right as well. So go ahead.
Well, I could play it back and impeach you, but that's not why we're here.
Do you have recordings of all our shows?
Well, I'm just saying of that issue. But anyway, I was wondering when you might come forward with your prediction. We let's face it, we had no apology on the past 2 years. But what's your prediction this year?
Okay, so I'll bite. Why should I apologize again for a prediction?
St. Bart.
Well, I mean, you were wrong.
So?
I mean, I say 2 years ago you predicted 10 wins. Last year it was 9. You were not an apologist. Some people did come forward and admit that, they were, wrong and would give, reasons why. But anyway, I haven't heard, and I mean, you may have already given it.
No. I'm still held up on the. Hang on, we'll get to that in a second. I'm still held up on why I owe somebody an apology for a prediction.
I mean, I've been wrong at least like 33 times today already, Bart. Just ask my teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, we're wrong more often than not every day of our lives.
Well,
are you perfect?
No. People of your ilk are, I think, held to a little bit higher standard. That's all I was saying.
It's still a prediction, Snake. That's what predictions make fools of everybody. Have you ever heard that expression? Predictions make fools of us all?
Well, not exactly stated that way, but something similar to that.
Okay, so what's wrong with? Do you have a problem with that expression? I mean, it's a prediction, man. Like that's like predictions. More often than not, do not come true. Like that's the nature of predictions.
Well, I mean, I was saying it affects your credibility.
I don't think it does at all. Saul, am I less credible because it got the season prediction wrong for Arkansas last year?
I don't believe so. Not many people probably got that right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Well, anyway, I was wondering if you were planning to make a prediction this year.
Sure. I mean, that's part of what we do. That's part of the, by the way, fun that we have on this show. Sports and talking about sports is supposed to be fun. And, I will be giving a prediction on the show for this upcoming football season. I was actually thinking about it, and Saul can back me up on this. I was thinking about doing it today. But I think I'm probably not going to do that now because
I probably put you under pressure, and I didn't intend to do that.
No. It has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with the fact that you brought it up, and that I'm not going to apologize for any sort of prediction that I ever make. I predict that the sun is going to rise tomorrow. How about that? If I'm wrong, you're in trouble.
Well, anyway, I'll be anxious. I'll be anxious to hear your prediction, and looking forward to it. And
I'm sure you are.
One other thing I want to mention before I get off. And I know you've got other callers.
Take your time.
This week, and I think perhaps last week, someone called in and about Bigfoot and about Sasquatch and saying that I think what I recall them saying it didn't exist, and I don't know who that was, but it's not true. I mean, for that record, that's a misleading statement, and it's not true.
Oh, please tell me more.
Well, I mean, that's just for the record. It's not a true statement. Bigfoot does exist.
Yeah, please tell me more. Elaborate. I'm interested.
Well, I mean, I just have personal knowledge of it.
Yeah, but what kind of personal knowledge? Like have you encountered Bigfoot?
Narrow down a region, please.
I have, but it's been, I don't like to talk about it really. It's been a long time ago.
Like how long ago are we talking?
It was 1962. That's a long time. And so, but, I mean, it was memorialized and, recorded in the Ranger's log. So, there was an account of it.
Where were you at, Snake, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I was in the Grand Tetons on a family vacation.
And you came face to face with Bigfoot?
Yes. But I don't like to talk about it. And
Well, yeah,
this is not a sports related.
No, it's wide open Friday. No, it's Snake. Hey, you're fine. It's wide open Friday.
Hey, this is Arkansas. We're all friends here. We everybody knows everybody.
I mean, like how I've got to know that. Like, how tall are we talking? Like, can you give me an estimate?
Yeah, 8 to 9 feet, I would say. Of course, I was 13 at the time, but to me, it was 8 to 9 feet.
Was he hostile or was he friendly?
Well, no. I mean, it was. I became aware of him. I sensed the most appalling odor I've ever smelled in my life, and looked up, and that's when he was there.
Was he
covered in hair?
Was he looking for food? What do you think? What do you think he was doing?
Standing straight up, hairy legs, arms. Everything.
Snake? Were you guys like cooking steak or something? Was he looking for food? What do you think he was doing?
Well, I was just wandering around the campsite.
Okay, gotcha.
And it was about dusk, and you have to understand, I was a baseball nut at the time, and because our team had just played in the state championship at Lamar Porterfield. I used to have a Pony League state championship, and we finished for all the time. It was like a 40-team tournament, and we finished in the top 4, and that's just baseball. And everywhere I went, and it's kind of strange, I would take my baseball glove and my ball. If I went to Piggly Wiggly, if I went to Shaneberg's, if I went to the mall, I just take it with me. So, when I was just wandering around the campsite, and I was probably about 100 yards away from, where we were camping out, and our family wasn't really big on camping out. We were with another man who had actually been in World War II. He had been wounded in the Ardennes in the Battle of the Bulge, and so he knew all about camping, and he set up the campsite and everything. And so I just came to this grassy knoll, and just went over it. Just kind of aimlessly, just mindlessly, just walking around, and that's when I had this encounter.
How did it take me through the process of meeting him and how it ended, please?
Well, I froze in fear.
Did he?
Well, that's probably what you're supposed to do, I imagine.
I was probably about, I'd say 15 feet away from him. Now, people say, well, you saw a bear. Well, this was not a bear. I know a bear. When we had gone into the campsite, we stopped at the ranger station and said, watch out for bears. And when we'd gone in, I'd seen a couple of bears along the roadway and that sort of thing. But this thing was standing straight up. It was big. And so I just froze in fear. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything.
Did he have the same kind of fear, or what do you think were his emotions?
He was just staring at me. So we just to stare off for just a few minutes. And so I had to get out of there. I had to do something.
Sure.
But I did something a little crazy, really. Okay. When I look back on it, I had my ball glove and my ball in my hand, and so I gripped a 4-seam fastball. Across the horse side of the baseball, and I had pitched I had a pretty good arm. I'd pitched when I was 12, but I hadn't pitched my first year in Pony League, but I still had a pretty good arm. And so I just reared back and let her fly.
Did you hit? Did you hit him, or were you like Nuke Lelouch? Did you miss?
Hit?
I missed. I was aiming for the face, but I hit him on his shoulder, in the shoulder area, and it was a thud just over the ground. So I thought, I'm dead.
Did you throw and run, or did he go at that point?
No, I just threw, and the ball hit his shoulder area and just fell to the ground. And he stared at me. His eyes just turned really kind of blood red.
Uh-oh.
And that's why, I thought for me, it was over. And, he turned and walked back through that pass. And I went back to my campsite.
What did your parents say, or your dad, or the companion
they
you
came
were
up
with?
There, they came up there, and but nothing was to be found or anything. And on our way out, we stopped by the ranger station the next day, and I gave my account. It was memorialized, and so that was it.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, Snake.
Well, I hate to take up your time. This is
very eye-opening.
No, I'm thankful that you felt comfortable enough with us to tell us. Thank you.
Well, it's been a long time ago, and I don't like to talk about it much. But anyway, that's why I'm saying I think Bigfoot does exist.
Well, thank you, Snake. I appreciate hearing your story today.
All right, thank you. All right, bye.
Take care.
I'm speechless.
Back in a minute.
Sports Talk.
GOAT. Greatest of all time. Moment in time.
That was last August. And
I asked while it was going, I asked Sawyer, is there any chance that was fake? And he says no.
Well, the call, certainly not.
I mean,
that's the snake being the snake.
Well, I mean, yes. I know that he didn't see Bigfoot. I'm talking about, like, is there any chance that guy's just messing with you? Or was that like...
No.
I believe he truly believes. Yeah.
I believe he believes he saw Bigfoot. We all know that he probably did not see Bigfoot, and that if he attempted to throw a baseball at Bigfoot, he would probably not be with us anymore.
What interesting strategy.
Very aggressive strategy. So that's one of our greatest of all-time moments. We'll react to that more. I could not keep it together during that, by the way. I was barely making it through and finally busted up at the end. 877-447-4040 if you want to get in here. More sports talk coming up.
This is Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe.
Life is better with football. And with First Security, we have the know-how to tackle your needs, plus a local team you can count on. What's your better? Get there with us. First Security. Bank better. FSbank.com, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
This is Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
All right, first off, congratulations to Billy and his team. I thought from the first time we played them, they were much, much more improved. And we saw them play I thought they played a little more edge than we did even in the first half. It was a 1-point game. But I thought we came out, we shook the line up and had some guys come out who gave us some pretty good energy. And so coming in the second half, you wanted to see that same energy, the same mindset defensively getting after it. I think one of the key stats in the first half obviously was the second chance points. And I thought we did a better job in the second half, but until, going down the stretch when they had to make plays, you see them come up with loose balls, tips in, and so the game was won in the paint. But you're talking about the free throw lines, the rebounding, just play a little more tougher, I think, than us. And but we had chances. It's a 2-point game, and we got the basketball, and obviously you got to execute. I think we're 8 minutes, and then even 3-point game with 6 minutes to go. But they ended up making plays. I thought Flagg made some big shots for them. And, of course, we already know that Starks is a good player. But I think a big guy tonight for them was the Mitchell kid. He didn't play well in the first game, but he's been playing really well. And with our guys, again, it's we talk about the confidence level. And we always talk about trying to finish strong. And of course, we saw it again. We didn't make the plays going down the stretch. I think we had back-to-back turnovers, and it's a 2-point game. And then you look up, now we're down 7. And we had some shots that didn't go in, and Mason had a good look. I think Isaiah had a good look, and now they're turning those turnovers into easy offense for them, layups.
dialed into Sports Talk. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now. Search for The Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and hit subscribe. Filling in for Bo today, here is Bart Pullman.
Ben is in Fayetteville. Ben, welcome to Sports Talk.
Hey, Bart. Just calling in. After the Bigfoot story, I'm not sure I can really top that. I guess anything's possible with the Kentucky game tonight. But last week I tried calling in when Bo was giving you all the grief about the golf club, and you got a good deal on a golf club. And I just wanted to share with you, back in the summer, probably 6 months ago, me and a couple of buddies were up at the Flying Burrito on College Avenue. And Bo was in there with his family in line in front of us getting his food. And the guy that was selling, ringing him up, asked him if he wanted any drinks. And I'd said hi to Bo and introduced myself. And he said, no, he'll just take water cups. Well, then he goes over and sits down. Me and my buddies get our lunch. We go sit down. I look over. Bo had gotten water cups. His family had all gotten water in the water cups. And Bo had filled up his water cup with a soda. So I think whenever he wants to talk about some integrity issues, I've been sitting on that story for about 6 months.
Oh, man.
When he wants to talk integrity issues about you getting a deal on a golf club, Bo should probably start paying for his sodas instead of doing the kid game. And I tried to call in last week while this was like a hot topic, but I couldn't get through and I was just like, Bo, I've been waiting for you to bring up integrity for 6 months. I'll just leave that little gem with you, but I've got some corroborating evidence with that as well through the magic of everybody's got a camera nowadays. The one thing I'd like to bring up, exactly. The one thing I'd like to bring up, this basketball game tonight with Kentucky. I don't see the Razorbacks doing a whole lot. But I would just like them to show up, be competitive, and play hard. The last game with A&M at home, those guys quit, and it looked like the altar call at a Baptist church with about 7 minutes left because everybody was just getting up and leaving, man. It was horrible. It was pitiful. I felt guilty because I stuck around until the end of the game. But I just thought I'd give you a call, Bart, and appreciate what you do, man. You take it easy.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate the call and the information. Real quick, Mark is in Springdale. We got about a minute before we hit the network break, Mark.
All right. Hey, man, I remember that snake call very, very well. It was a glorious. I remember that day I was, I was having one of those bad day at work, all that. And that one was like one of those amazing light shining moments. It was the funniest thing. I had to pull the car over, I remember, because I was laughing so hard. And I could imagine how just the brilliance of you guys not showing that on the air, but you could kind of tell a little bit. You guys were just losing it.
Oh, we were.
But Snake will always be one of my favorites just because he reminds me of the old guy from Scooby-Doo, one of the old guys, where they pull the mask off. And like, I got away with it, too, if it wasn't for you mangy kids.
You are listening to Sports Talk, produced by Bart Pullman, directed by Sire Radler. Get a head start on our new podcast by subscribing now.
Anytime, anywhere.